What's up, everybody? Welcome to Aces Up Podcast, episode 37. I'm your host, Joe Carlton. Tonight, I have a very good guest. We're going to be discussing poker and fantasy football. He's also got 30 plus years of law enforcement experience. He's retired. We're going to get into a little bit of that. We're going to learn about Duke Viveros. I'm sure some of you all know him. He's a high-stakes fantasy football legend, multiple at primetime champion on NFFC. He's won a Silver Bullet League on NFC. He's had success on the FFPC platform, and he now currently playing professional poker tournaments out in Vegas. Looking forward to this show, getting to know him a little bit better, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Duke, welcome to Aces Up. Welcome to the Sports Affiliation. I appreciate you being here. How you doing tonight?
Doing great, Joe. Appreciate you having me on your show.
Absolutely, man. One of my favorite things about doing this is getting to know some of the guys that I really want to meet that I don't get a chance to meet. You know what I mean? You don't do the live New York draft, so I won't see you there. And, you know, I haven't been to Vegas since my poker playing days back in 2010. You know,
gotta get you out there, Joe.
I know. I hear Vegas is a must. People tell me this all the time. I'll be there soon. We'll get there. But anyways, man, we're gonna learn about your history with law enforcement. We're definitely going to talk some poker. So when I started this show, I wanted to mix in some poker episodes. Sure. And I've only gotten one poker guest so far. I've got to shout out Lily Lotfi, local Boston poker player. We had her on. She's been killing the local tournaments here at the Encore in Boston. And I had to sit her down and pick her brain for a little bit, get to learn about her. And since then, she's been on a tear. She went out to the win and scored an 80K plus prize. So good for her on that. I love seeing her have success. I know she's passionate about the game. She's a good player. She's a good human, good person. So shout out Lily. But one thing I found out, Duke, and I found this out the hard way, trying to get poker players to do a podcast, they got that hustle of blood in them. So they're like, so what are you paying me? Am I getting money? What do you mean what am I paying you? Yeah. I just want to get you on and talk poker. And I want to highlight you, and I got to pay you to highlight you. Like, come on, man.
No paying. Just a little water. That's all I need right
here. Nice. So I'm glad to have you on. I know you got a poker background. You fantasy football player. So I want to start with, I want to learn about Duke, the person. Why don't you give me tell us about your family, your hobbies, where you grew up, anything you want to share with us would be great.
Yeah, nice. I was born and raised and grew up in Fontana, California, which is about 60 miles east of LA. My dad was a steel worker. My mom was a receptionist at Kaiser Hospital. I like to describe my childhood as the movie The Sandlot and Benny the Jet. That was me. Benny just out the door when it got dark. It was dinner time. We played baseball all day long. It was just a great childhood that I had. I just loved everything about it. I still have to this day a lot of buddies in the neighborhood. We get together, we'll get a little bit about poker. I'm playing poker all the time. And I just had a great childhood, high school, and I always wanted to be a cop. And then in 1986, I decided to put myself through the academy and see if I can get hired on with the department. So, 1986, I was a manager at Alpha Beta, a grocery store, and I went back to stocking shelves at night. So during the 4 months of the academy, I had to put myself through. I wasn't getting paid like the other guys were already hired by various departments that were in the academy. And then once the academy day was over, I go stock shelves from 11 at night until 6 in the morning. So
nice. Now you're talking my language. I did that for 15 years, dude.
Yeah, and so I was living on like 3 hours sleep for 4 months straight. Just burning the candle on both ends, and somehow I made it through the academy. And then the last, what is there, 16, 4, 8, 12, so like week 15, Riverside Sheriff's Department picked me up, offered me a job, and I actually took a pay cut, Joe, from Alpha Beta to becoming a deputy sheriff by $1 an hour. I was making $11.32 an hour as a deputy sheriff. Unbelievable, But and that it all turned. But I thought that was kind of what the heck's going on here, So I get out of the academy. RSO, Riverside Sheriff, picks me up. I worked in the jail for almost 2.5 years. And after my tour was up in the jail, now I was ready to go to the streets, be a patrol officer. And they sent me to a city called Moreno Valley. I went in the field training officer program, had a couple of field training officers. And before you know it, I'm out on my own. I'm on patrol. And the pension that I had when I was in patrol, I loved making narcotic and gang arrests. I just had a niche for that. That's something that I really, really enjoyed. So I was in patrol for about 2 years, and during that time, I became a field training officer, and I trained a bunch of new deputies coming out of the jail, new hires, or what have you, and they would ride with me. And during that time, I was always making a ton of, again, back at gang and narcotic arrests, and we had a team at our station called the SET team, Special Enforcement Team, and that team specializes in narcotics, gangs, homicides, home invasion robberies, high assault type crimes, and so I was just having the time of my life. I was 27.
Real bad, you're taking down the real bad guys. Yeah.
And during that time, those were, serious arrests. They do serious time. We're talking 86, 88, 89, 90. You do some serious time, not the way it is now. So I did that for about 2 years, and then I put in for to go to a task force, and it's a multi-agency task force all over Riverside County. It's made of Riverside Sheriff, Riverside Police Department, Corona Police Department, Montclair Police Department, and then we had a social worker assigned to us too regarding children, endangered children in meth labs and stuff like that, where we would take them when we make a meth lab arrest. And during that time, I was on the task force for about 3 years. We would do 5 to 8 search warrants a week, narcotic search warrants a week. I've done hundreds of undercover buys on the street, hand to hand. So I was just, it was quite an assignment. You're always back then you're on your pager, your beeper, and getting call outs, and just, I worked 3 days straight on a big methamphetamine lab out in the homelands and Gavilan Hills, and stuff like that. And I really, really enjoyed that. But I knew my time was coming to an end on West County Narcotic Task Force, where I would be going back to patrol. So I probably got 7 years on the department now. All right, it's time to put in for a detective. Try to make it, type thing. And fortunately, I tested well, and I did really well. And I can go anywhere. Riverside County is like the 3rd largest county in the whole United States. Massive, just massive. And I made detective, investigator, and of all the cities, the stations I go to, or I go right back to Moreno Valley, which is great. That's like my home. I know everybody at Moreno Valley. So I go to the detective bureau there, and I'm started out working burglaries and grand theft, and then I moved it right away, and I was working robbery division, and I worked high-end robberies, which was a really cool, not high-end robberies, but just home invasion robberies, bank robberies, and FBI of course would get involved too, but multi-types of robberies. And I did that for a couple of years. But my niche was I always wanted to go back to major narcotics now for the detective. It's called SIB, Special Investigation Bureaus, where they do major narcotic investigations. But my memo in, and then I got it after about 2 years, I got moved over to SIB, Special Investigation Bureau. But before I went to them, I went to a DEA task force, which was really cool too. So now I'm working with DEA, and they got all the toys, Joe. They got everything you can except street experience. You know, and so we were the grunts. We were doing all the hard work, and then we play with their toys. We get their money. We get everything. Don't get me wrong. There's some really quality people there too, but they were just never in the streets. They never, handled calls. They never did, all kinds of investigations like we did as deputies and investigators, with the sheriff's department. So I go to the DEA task force, and we do wiretaps on Mexican cartels. We follow them all. We do surveillances from Riverside to San Francisco to Sacramento. We're up on wiretaps. I was fortunate to write two wires targeting Mexican national organizations. Did that for about 3 years. Tons of overtime, never home, always in court. And then from there, I got to go to Special Investigation Bureau, the Major Narcotic Team, with my buddies, my boys, from the years before. And that was a great assignment. I was there for about 4 years, and we did similar to the same thing, just high-end investigations, And back then, Riverside County was we were number 1 or number 2 in the world for methamphetamine labs. 60 Minutes did a show regarding Riverside County and methamphetamine labs, Mexican national labs, just monster labs. We go from that to the white tweakers, we call them Beavis and Butthead labs, to the major narcotics guys with millions and millions of dollars, And, we'd go back and forth. And I did that for several years. And then I knew my time was coming in at SIB. And then I was able to go back to Moreno Valley again, because I know everybody there. I knew the captains, lieutenants. Heck, they were my trainees back in the day. Now they've gone up through the ranks. I never wanted to get up to the ranks. I wanted to be a detective. That was my whole thing that I wanted to do. And I go back to Moval, and then I'm back in the detective, and I'm working robberies. And then I worked about 4 years in a row of sex crimes against children and sex crimes against elderly folks. And those investigations, I worked lots of homicides and stabbings and seen a lot of deaths. But those were the worst ones that really get to your heartstrings, the children and, and old people. You just don't F with babies and old people. Leave them alone. Right. And these people are just animals, And so I really enjoyed that. As crazy as that sounds, but putting those people away, when you're doing an interview with them, you say, I can understand why we do something like that. Blah, 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 to get them to open up. It all depends who you're talking to in the interview to try to get a confession. I've gone from priests to gang members to doctors to school teachers, you name it. And you have to wear a different hat every time in your interview to hopefully get that confession later on in court, so you can put them away hopefully for life or for really long sentences. So I did that, and I was enjoying myself. Now I'm getting up there. I have like about 3 years left before retire. I'm up in like 28 years now. And then they asked me, hey, dude, would you be interested in going back to the special enforcement team? And this is the young guys. Back then, the young guys chased all them down, foot pursuits, rolling around the dirt with these guys, guns, everything else. I'm 51 years old. That's the last thing I'm going to do now, And I got my daughter I was raising at the time. 8 to 5. I had to do that. My daughter for school, driving, everything else, karate, cheerleading, soccer, all that stuff. And they go, no. It's going to be an 8 to 5 job, and we want you to have 6 deputies with you, and then basically look over them for home invasion robberies, for gang-related robberies, gang shootings, everything in between. So I said, all right, I'll go ahead and do that. And you get weekends off, which doesn't happen. But they offered me the weekends off because I had to have that. So I did that, and then I did that for about 3 years. And one thing that was just discouraging to me, the laws were changing where people weren't really getting a lot of time when they do commit serious crimes. So I started doing, you're familiar with Section 8, with people living in Section 8, home.
Yeah, that's like housing.
It's exact housing.
Yeah.
Section 8. So, and I knew a couple gals over there. I met them on a couple seminars from years past. And we always had this idea, well, I bring this up as Section 8 sort of like removing the stump from the tree. Whenever you get accepted on Section 8, and it's always a female with 5 or 6 kids, gang members, just drug infested, crime ridden. They've done everything under the book. You a working man, Joe, you got to go work. You come back and you live next door to Section 8 house. They're having parties. They're having drive-by shootings. Your car's getting shot out with bullets. Your house is getting shot out with bullets. It's just crazy. And you see it all over. So I thought this idea, let's try to break this chain. And so I ended up writing 58 Section 8 house warrants where when you apply to go on Section 8, you have to fill out this application. It's like 8 pages long, and it's pretty simple, basic rules. Have you ever committed a felony? Have you ever been a violent act? Have you ever been in jail? And every single one of the ladies, oh no, my children, oh no, they're all little angels, blah blah blah. So now when I look into that, I find out that's not right. She's been convicted of felony for robbery. Their sons are currently certified gang members for robberies, for selling narcotics. You name it. Well, now I can write a search warrant and arrest them and take them to jail. And the biggest eye opener to me that I saw was everybody on Section 8, Joe, get this, they would live in a house, 2-bedroom, 3,000 square feet, rents $3,000 a month. They don't pay a penny. Right. They get another $2,500 a month on welfare, for free food, free everything. They don't pay a dime. Everything is absolutely free forever. It never stops. So I would. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and then they also do illegal stuff to.
It's just ongoing.
I was tired earn more income.
I'm tired of arresting their children and their young adults, and they're getting out. For robberies, for rapes. I mean, seriously, they're literally getting out and just getting their hands slapped. So that by doing this search warrant, now they automatically Section 8 takes everything away from them. They're kicked out of the house and they have to move. And that was one of the most satisfying arrests that I got because they have to leave. So now you get your children, you can play in the front yard with them without worrying about getting shot up by a drive-by living next to gang members, in the Section 8 house next door. So that was very satisfying. I did that. And then I retired like 9-10 years ago and started my next chapter from there, which was poker.
Nice. So I got to ask you, what is it about the narcotics that part of it? Is there like anything there? Like, is there a reason why you enjoy it? Like, I'm only asking you because my brother went down the wrong path with narcotics, and he's been wanted in Massachusetts. He's been arrested, wanted, and locked up in Florida. And still to this day, I don't think he's truly gotten past his mental health issues. So
I gotta tell you, Joe, I mean, raise your hand if you have somebody in your family that has a narcotic problem.
This is what I'm getting. It affects families. Yeah,
I mean, my family too. So it is. They commit violent crimes, violent acts when they're high on methamphetamine. I've had rapes, I've had robberies, theft left and right, 24 hours a day. It's just nonstop, and it's just sad to say. It's just sad to see it, every single day. If I can put a minor dent, then back then, but back then it wasn't a dent. You would put these people away for years. They had the 3 strikes back then, in the mid 80s, to early 90s, 3 strikes and you're out type program, and they did some serious time. Where now it's just current day. If you're a crook, it's good to be in California because you just get your hands slapped. Unfortunately, it's sad to say that, and I'm so happy I got out of law enforcement 9 years ago. But I really enjoyed the narcotic aspect about it. I could care less about. Well, I don't want to say I could care less, but I mean, if you're out smoking a little bit of weed or you get high or something like that, I'm not targeting you. I'm targeting the dealers. I'm going after those people that's spreading that out. All that's poison out there.
Taking advantage of once innocent, good human beings, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll make an arrest and I'll do a vehicle stop and somebody's under the influence and they got, they got a teener, they got, a couple grams in their pocket and something like that. And they don't have a violent history and they got a couple, misdemeanors, no big deal. But they don't want to go to county jail for 6 months to a year. And they go, hey, Duke, I know so-and-so and so-and-so, he's only an ounce here, blah, blah, blah. And then the chain starts, and then I'll do controlled buy and I'll arrest that guy there. And then I get him and he's squealing. He wants to get the other guy over here. And I'm going after the other guy over here. And it's just an ongoing thing, type thing, but
Gotcha.
As higher as you go up, it's dangerous. Listen, it's dangerous from regular guys under the influence on PCP. I've had my left shoulder taken out. The guy was on PCP, literally took it out of the socket. And my arm was just literally hanging there. I've had PCP in the jail thrown in my face when I worked in the jail when I first started out. But it's just crazy, nonstop, and it just never stops. Like heroin people in certain parts of the city, it would be for tar heroin in this particular neighborhood, be methamphetamine in this area over here. It'll be rock cocaine in the gang infested area. It all depends what you're doing. But that was my niche, and I really had a good feel for that. I knew all the players involved. Everywhere we went. And they would tell me a lot of things they would never tell anybody else, or the officer or anybody else, but they trusted me because I was good with them. If you listen, you hear it all the time. Hey, you treat with respect, you'll get respect back. It really, really works that way out in the field when you talk to the bad people and stuff like that too. You don't have to be an ass, and I never was. I listen. Be compassionate what they have to say. If they're full of it, then you tell them you're full of it. But listen to what they have to say, and you'd be surprised. I'll get a phone call. Hey, dude, so and so's over here doing this, or they're getting ready to do a lick over here, a robbery or something like that. And I'll get that phone call. And so it goes both ways.
Nice. I like that. I like how how you talk about the communication with the criminals themselves. I actually have a friend of mine. He listens to the show. He's also a retired detective. We play poker. He's not a professional player, but we play 1-3 every now and then. I'll play 1-3 at the casino. He's in there. He mixes it up at that level, and he's well known for getting criminals to admit their crimes and confess and all that stuff. And
that was I think one of my specialties was getting confessions on. That was my niche that I was able to do.
Nice.
I would do. If somebody get arrested before I even do the interview, and I know about that particular case, but I would look up all past arrests by these people, violently, what they said. Did they confess? Are they attached to a family member that's really strong or something like that, where I can mention that? And I got them right in my hand, like putty now, because I mentioned something that means the world to them.
Right.
You want to use those techniques to get confessions.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you know how to if you can probe like to that extent, like that good, that this is going to come up when we get into the poker discussion. I'm going to ask you about what skills you learned from law enforcement that come into the play at the poker table, and I already know there's quite a few there.
It's a huge part of it.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that once we jump into poker. But I got one more question for you regarding the cops experience.
Yeah,
I want to know. Tell us about getting on the TV show Cops. That
was
the show.
Cops was doing the show in Moreno Valley for a couple weeks, and I was on the special enforcement team at the time, and I assisted them on a car stop that one of the deputies did on there. And during that stop, I found some narcotics. I found a gun in the car, and I was BSing with the suspects and blah blah blah. Everyday stuff that we do. Didn't think nothing of it. And then the next day when I came to work, they go, "Hey, the guys on Cops, they want to know if you want to be on the show." I don't. What am I, 28? I mean, well, I'm going to say no. I mean, that's pretty cool. To go on Cops. Blah blah blah. It's like the #1 show on TV and stuff like that. Yeah. So I had to get cleaned up. I had to get shaved and got a haircut, and I looked like a cop again. And I went on the show, and I wrote 2 weeks, and I had a crew. And it was funny because the guy on the right front passenger seat, he had the camera right here, so you can just feel the heat on the camera right there. The guy's in the back seat, and we've got a screen in the back of the car there, and he's got the microphone poking through there, so it's practically tickling my ear, the microphone. And then we go to various calls and and stuff like that, and then we're involved in like 6 different segments. I was on 2 shows of Cops, and I was involved in 6 segments, and then Bad Boys song. I was in like 3 different segments of when that song comes onto at the start, getting in my car, and then we got a guy who had a gun on him, and it shows me over him, the end of the song on there. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Those guys are super, super cool people. Afterwards, we go, and they had a place on University Street in Riverside, and we go have a couple beers and hang out with them. They're giving me cop sweatshirts and shirts and hats, and we went golfing with them on our day. Just super nice guys. So that was a really fun, great time, and I'll never forget it. It was just a great time during that time.
Nice, awesome. All right, so Duke, that was great, man. I'm glad. I appreciate you sharing all the law enforcement stories, the experience, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, and thank you for your service, by the way.
I appreciate it.
It's what you guys go through. I don't think the everyday regular person doesn't really appreciate it. To say the least.
I listen. Everybody thinks it's all glamour and stuff like that. I'm telling you, man. 31 years of you're never home. You're never home on holidays. Your days off. You're in court Monday through Friday. You're a walking corpse. The pager's going off at 1:30 because of homicide in the morning. You got to put your suit and tie, and you're driving 26 miles to work. It takes a toll on you. I was going to say, but it's very satisfying, and I think Riverside Sheriff's Department had an amazing career.
All right, so we're going to move on. Why don't we jump into some poker? Let's see. Let me. I lost my checkpoint, of course, as usual. All right, so you said you just hit the 300,000 lifetime tournament earnings this year.
Actually, I'm on 273,000, and I'm planning on hitting over 300,000 when I hit WSOP.
Oh, I thought that final table you were telling me about did it.
No, I'm at 273 right now.
Okay,
I'm hopefully I'm going over in the next 6 weeks to go over that amount. I'm right there. I'm right around the corner. I'm on the 5-yard line.
All right, so let's talk about how you got in. How you started playing poker. How old were you the first time you were introduced to the game? Tell us how you fell in love with it. How you were like, yeah, I love this game. I want to keep. How did poker fall into Duke's life?
It was when I was 9 years old, 10 years old, living in Fontana, lived in that neighborhood. All the other guys, Joe, I would go and look for bottles, and I'd go dumpster diving. I'd go in fields. I'd look behind grocery stores to get every bottle. We got a nickel a bottle. And then I'd get like $1, and then literally every day we would go to somebody's house and we would play 7-card stud for pennies, nickels, and dimes.
Nice.
And that's the only game. Hold'em wasn't even around back then. It was just 7-card stud was the game back then.
Right.
And so that's it. I started playing it, and I just loved it. I mean, listen, I'm a kid, it was a passion, and I really enjoyed that. And then when I worked at Alpha Beta, we got a crew together, like 6 of us, and it's been going on now, Joe, for 37 straight years now. We play once a month on a Saturday, $100 buy-in. I don't even care if I win or lose. They're just my friends. It's just getting together, making fun of each other, chicken wings and pizza, and just having a great time. But we've changed names, obviously, through 37 years, but we still have a core of like 4 of us going back to like the 1985, that we still play poker together, So we're playing all these games, and then I go around and screw around and play and everywhere I went, I won't say always won, but I always did well. I did pretty good. I'm always winning all the time, but that means absolutely nothing. I never played a turn in my life. I never played a $10 Joe turn in my life, a $50 turn in my life, nothing. And then here it comes. 2007. This is during Chris Moneymaker, Greg Raymer days, when they won the World Series.
That's what I was playing, baby. 2007.
2007. And listen to what this donkey did. I entered the World Series of Poker, $5,000 entry, 7-card stud World Championship. I didn't even know what re-raise was. I knew nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's the Rio, which is amazing. The Rio on there.
I already know where this is going because I looked at the Hendon mob.
Yeah, and that was my very first that I ever played. $5,000 is a lot of money back in 2000. It's a lot of money now. But 2007.
Yeah. Oh, that's like the second or third highest buy-in at the time.
Oh yeah, it was. And so I'm playing, Joe. I have Mike Sexton at my table. I have Jeffrey Lissandro at my table. I have Alan Cunningham at my table, and I have the Professor Howard Lederer at my table.
Oh, very good players.
And I know all these. I'm watching TV. Yeah. You want to talk about a hen, in the wolf's house? I had no idea what I was doing. Literally, I know how to play 7-card stud, but so I'm sitting in my chair and I'm doing pretty good. I'm a house mouse. I'm not saying a word. I had Howard Lederer on my right. He's literally this far away from me. I don't know if you remember back in the day when he looks at you, he just looks at you for like 10 minutes.
He can hear he hears what you're thinking. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, well, they call him a professor, whatever. But I mean, all these guys are just monsters. I mean, all these guys.
The table presence. Yeah.
I mean, it's just monsters that you see on TV, and I'm just a nobody. On there, and so I make it through day one. Just to make it through a day one, I was like, is amazing. And I think I had like 143,000 in chips, which is nice. I think the average stack going into day two was like 87,000. So I did really, really well. We go back in the day, Joe, too. If you make day three, the final table, it was on ESPN back then. ESPN actually picked it back up again this year. ESPN picked it
right. Yeah, they did slow
down.
But
back then it was, and so here we go. We're on day two on there, and I'm still hanging. And Howard Lederer was still in it too. And we go back to Howard Lederer. We're in a big hand with him. And I had filled up on a full house on 6th Street, and he was chasing the flush. And I checked, he bet, I re-raised, and I got the Howard Lederer look. For like 10 minutes, I about pissed myself when he's looking at me. And I was petrified. I just tried to keep calm on there. And then he looked at me, and then he folded. Never said a word to me, nothing like that.
He didn't want to fold. He didn't want to fold, but he knew he had to. Right?
He knew. But he knew I had to have it. Number one, nobody knows me. Which is a good thing to know when you go to people don't know you. That's a good thing, but they also knew I was a wreck, a recreational player. I mean, heck, my first turn ever play, I'm a donkey, basically. Playing against these monsters. Day two comes along, and we're about 3 hours into day two, and I'm still doing well. I got a ton of chips, and Howard Lederer is like 3 tables over, and he looks at me and he goes, like recognition, like hey, good job, kid type thing. That the gesture of the game, which made me feel so good, that he did that to me, and then I had a really good chip, and here comes the dinner break. It's about 6 p.m. We came back for day two at I think 1 p.m. And at the Rio, they have like a little Korean barbecue little place that's right around the corner in there. And so there I am. I'm nervous as hell. Oh, by the way, back at the Rio, they got the video digital round going around and around, and Duke Viveros, one of the chip leaders on there. I mean, it was just to see my name, with Johnny Chan. I feel Ivy was in the turn, all those guys, and I was not like number 2, 3. I was even number 1 in chips at one time on day two. It would talk about Fantasy Island. It was totally Fantasy Island for me, there. And then now I'm sitting, I can barely eat. We got a 45-minute hour break. And to my right was the winner, Greg Raymer, Fossil Man, on there. And he looks at me, and he saw me for the past 2 days. We didn't say anything. He gave me a head nod in day one, but never said a word to the guy. I wouldn't know what to say to the guy. But he looks at me, and he goes, "Hey, you're doing a good job over there. Keep it up." He said that, to me. And again, that was like monster to me. Somebody that you see all that to say that to me, to give me confidence to keep playing and playing. So, and this story is what I know now in poker compared to back then. The horrific bad beats that you're going to get right now coming up is, so here we are. I have like 350,000 in chips. I mean, I literally have chips up to my freaking chin. We have ropes are all roped off down there. People all packed. It was just nuts. And here comes the 2 hands back to back. I get a 7-card stud, and I'm rolled up trips, rolled up deuces, first 3 cards. Raise. I get one guy all the way to the end. He hits runner for a flush. So he takes a monster pot away from. I still got chips. Oh, and by the way, we're 5 spots away from the money. They paid 23 spots that year. 8,500 is the last spot. I think it was 23rd or 24th place, something like that. So I lose, but keep going. What are you going to do? You went runner on me. Very next hand, Joe, I get rolled up jacks. Unbelievable. I mean, let that sink in a little bit. 7-card stud.
Yeah, I know.
Rolled up jacks. 4 people in, raise. I was all the way at the end. All 3 people stood at the end, brick, and the guy at the end hits a gut shot straight. I never improved on my 3 jacks, and I got nothing but crumbs in front of me. I think I have like 50,000. I have nothing. The blinds are like, the blinds are like 15,000, 30,000 or something like that. I have like 50,000 in chips on me, And now we're like one spot away from cash. And I'm going, Jesus, I'm not even going to cash now. That was the last thing on my mind. Now I'm thinking, oh my God, I've gone this freaking far, played 3 days straight, and I'm going to lose $5,000. Now reality is hitting. And I was lucky to last like 10 minutes later where I got the last cash for $8,500 in like 23rd or 24th place out of that world championship. But that gave me at least the, hey, you know what? I think I can play with these guys type thing. But then I was living in the real world too. Yeah, I still got a lot of years left working. I got my children, or they're still kids now, and all this stuff. I mean, I can't play poker, but that gave me the, I think I can play with these guys type of thing.
Right.
And then I retired like 9 years ago. I want to say, you know what? I want to give the thing a shot and see if I can play poker with the big boys out there. And then so I went out, and the World Series of Poker was still at Binion's downtown. It wasn't at it wasn't at the where we at here, 2009. Oh no.
It was 2009.
It was at the Rio. But Binion still was having the poker rooms over there.
It went from Binion's to Bellagio, I think.
No, it went from Binion's to Rio to now it's at the Horseshoe.
Is it? I thought Bellagio had it for a year 100%. Or two.
And that's what it is. But Binion's has major tournaments going on. They have the sunken in room with all the pictures on the wall and of all the past champions and stuff like that. And mind you, I haven't played any tournaments at all since 10 years prior to that. And my second tournament I played was a stud 8 $400 entry fee. I think there was 145 entrants, big field. And I won it. And I won like $11,000 in that week. And then I cashed on a couple other tournaments in that 1 week. And that was it. That was the hook that got me into playing poker.
Yeah, winning a tournament will do it. That's kind of how I won 2 small tournaments online. I was a big online player from like 2002 to like 2007-ish.
Yeah.
And then I played some live, and then I kind of stopped chasing the poker thing when I met my wife, and we started a family, and I'm doing that now. So maybe someday when I'm like you, Duke, older and retired and have the time to do it all, and maybe we'll make another run at it. But yeah, I played it's just $10 and a $15 tournament, talking like 1,500 entries, and I won 2 of them in 1 week, and that's kind of how it's kind of how it started for me. I was like, once you get that feeling that you can have success, and when you win a tournament, it's like an incredible feeling. I don't know how to describe it.
I do. To me, almost, it's equivalent of winning a prime time or a classic. To me, to winning like that.
I compare it to like a pitcher throwing a no-hitter.
Oh my goodness! Everything's like 1,000,000%. Everything has to be perfect.
And then you spend like 3 or 4 days replaying the hands in your mind, and you're like, I made a lot of really good folds, and I can't believe I did this. And if I didn't do that, then the rest of this wouldn't have happened. And it's just like for it to happen twice in 1 week, and you're like,
I use the word perfect. That's the wrong word. It is. You have to be fortunate.
Yes,
perfect doesn't exist in poker.
No,
there's no perfect player that does it. But you have to be fortunate in playing poker, as I learned through the years since those early days.
You have to win like at least 1 or 2 unorthodox pots that you created for yourself just by filling out a spot. I feel like
that was the hunt for me. I was getting a ton of cashes, Joe, but I wasn't winning. I win, but then I like to tell myself I learned how to win at the end, and I've won 15 titles now, which is pretty good. I mean, nothing amazing, but 15 titles is still pretty good.
It doesn't matter the size of the tournament if you're winning.
You hit the nail on the head. I don't care if it's a $150 tournament or it's a $1,500 tournament. People have no idea how hard it is even to make a final table. It is just ridiculous hard to make a final table, let alone win a tournament. It's just crazy. So yeah.
Nice. So I want to know, what's your favorite casino out in Vegas?
My favorite, for tournament wise, it's the Wynn. Wynn is just superb. I was there last week. It's just superb, from Barry running the four person over there, to the dealers who are just on point, to the cocktail servers. They're just everything. It's just first rate, first class, top of the line. I can't tell you enough accolades I can give to the Wynn. Now WSOP's coming up, and of course that's the holy grail for every poker player to go out there to do well. But the other side of the coin of that is like the dealers, they're ferocious, they're terrible. They're the worst dealers you can get. I had a dealer last year, couldn't even speak English, just started dealing. Two times on a mixed game where it's stud 8 or stud. They turned my 7th card up or filled me up one time when I'm on crumbs, and that card gets thrown out because she put it up. So I had to have another card dealt into me, and now I'm walking out the door because of the dealer just cost me a monster pot type thing. They have no idea what they're doing, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And the players at the table are pretty much running the dealer. Hold it. You got a burn card here. This goes down, or they'll just screw it up, And that's the bad thing about it. If you're going to put $1,500 down on a World Series of Poker Championship tournament, you should have competent dealers, doing that. You shouldn't have to do that. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is right now at WSOP.
That leads me to tilt, because when people ask me what puts you on tilt, is it a bad beat? Is it the way somebody's playing? Is it somebody taking too long? No, like you just mentioned it. It's a dealer that doesn't know what they're doing.
And then they smile at you, and they laugh. It's nothing to laugh. You could have fried a dozen eggs in my forehead. I was so pissed off. So yeah.
Oh man, there's nothing like them pitching in you a king of spades and it falls face up, and you look at them and it's like, I've been waiting 4 hours to see that king of spades.
Yes,
what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Like, no, and I know accidents happen, but like stuff like that is what puts outside things like that's not part of the game puts me on tilt. Bad beats. I told you earlier, Duke, I was an online poker player. I've played millions of hands. I've seen bad beats definitely don't affect me. I guess it would depend on the spot. If I was in a huge tournament and you're talking about 5-figure swings and stuff,
I know.
Maybe it hurts a little bit more, but it's like just like something that you learn to accept, that it just happens. We're gluttons for punishment. We get kicked in the balls almost weekly if you play.
Listen, I'm going back to Caesar's Palace. I'm driving on Sunday morning for 4 days. I'm going to get bad beat every single day. It's just poker. It's just when that bad beat occurs, at what stage of the tournament, that's when what the hell just happened. I mean, so it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But then there's some bad beats too, and I got a few that's like, what the hell just happened here, for sure.
So when it comes to tilt, especially in a tournament, like in a cash game, you could at least get up, go take a walk, go grab a beer at the bar, take a few minutes. You have usually most casinos give you at least 30 to 45 minutes to return to your seat, so you got plenty enough time to decompress over it and get back to focusing on the task at hand. But when you're in a tournament, there's no breaks. Your stack is your stack. Once you lose it, you're out. And when you lose unfairly, so to speak, you have to the deal is deal in the next hand, and you're still absorbing it. So how do you handle these type of spots? Like, do you shrug it off immediately, or is it something that hopefully you can fold the next 3 or 4 hands, and then you can gives yourself an extra few seconds to regroup? Like, how do you go about it in a tournament?
I think the players that know me, that I've been playing the last couple of years, they know my demeanor. I basically don't say anything. I might make a facial expression or something, but I don't act like a 2-year-old and I can't believe you pulled that card out, and this or that. I just don't say nothing. I don't tilt, Joe. I just keep quiet. I have conversations with myself internally, but nothing ever comes out of my mouth. Obviously, what the hell just happened here? It happens every tournament, and I think that defines you as a poker player compared to other players too, where you see them all the time, where they're throwing their little tantrums and their fits and everything else, but it's all happy and look at me when I'm winning. But when they get a couple bad beats in a row, they act like a 2-year-old and they go stomping off, And I'm just not that kind of. That's not in me. That's not my build up, my makeup when I play poker. I'm the opposite. I'm just stoic and quiet, and with a head nod every now and then. But that's about it. That's all you're going to get out of me at the table.
Nice. So Duke is a quiet tilter.
Yeah, inside. Yeah. And when I
Nice.
walk out the door
Well,
and you see me in the parking lot, that's another story, maybe, but not at the table.
no, that's a good way. I kind of go about it the same way. Like those who have played against me will know when I'm truly aggravated me that we play against each other regularly. But if I'm going against somebody new, I just kind of it just kind of bounces off of me, and I'll stay quiet, and I'll watch them. They'll be looking at me, waiting for me to say something and stuff. And like you said, Duke,
Yeah.
so sometimes less words is the best
Yeah.
path at the poker table. So especially when it comes to you don't never want people to know when you're sweating. That's for sure.
You got it.
All right, so you plan on you're going to the World Series this year. And we were talking about it over the phone a couple of weeks ago. How long are you staying out there for? How many events you playing?
Yeah, I'm gonna do. They're having a chainsaw Alan Kessler mixed game tournament starting on Saturday through Wednesday. So I'm gonna drive up to Vegas. I'm sorry, Sunday through Wednesday. I'm gonna drive up Sunday morning, leave here about 7 in the morning, and I'll get back about 1 in the morning Thursday morning. And then I'm going to play 2 days. They have a WSOP circuit at the Commerce Casino in LA. And they have a torch tournament on Thursday, and they have a mixed triple draw on Friday. And then 5 days later, my WSOP journey begins. I'm leaving on Wednesday, May 20th, Joe, and I'll be there through July 2nd. So I'm going to be there for 42 nights of some serious grinding, going on there. And
absolutely. Now, do you take breaks? Is there like a U tournament every single day? As soon as one ends, boom, you're in the next one. Do you take a couple of days off in between?
Well, it's that's a question. 3 years ago, poker's so weird. Really switching gears super quick though is like 3 years ago, I played a tournament at the Bicycle Club in Los Angeles, and I got third place for 16,000. And then a couple of days later, I went to the WSOP. And my first 5 tournaments, I made final tables in all 5. I was just on such a rush, and I hit my biggest score at the win during one of those times. And I won like between LA and then the 5 tournament in 5 days, Joe, 5 days in a row. I had won like $67,000, which is monopoly money. I was running the bank in Vegas every morning and depositing $9,999 in the bank, and I'm hiding the rest of the money like freaking Easter eggs all over my condo. Because I had so much money in there. It was nuts. And that was like the great times. Look at me. I'm Mr. Badass. And then I go to last year, I got my head handed to me. I cashed 8 times, but that's just the way poker is. And you got to be able to sustain that. That's just the way it is. It goes in swings, and I don't know what you can even call it, but you have to be yourself. If anybody asks me, well, what are you yourself prepared for WSOP?
Yes.
And for me, it's mental is number one. You have to be in the right frame of mind and make sure you sleep. People, if you don't sleep 8 hours, eat good, eat healthy, I call it fuel food, stay on point, because if you run well, if it's a 2-day tournament, you're playing 12 to 14 hours to make it to a day 2 for a multi-event day tournament. But even a 1 day, you're there, the tournament starts at noon and you play till 5 in the morning. You're beat, you're a wreck. When I first started doing this, I'm hitting pizza, getting coney dogs, in between breaks, and, glazed donuts and stuff, and then running back to the table. And I was a mess. And so I really learned discipline the last 2 years. The last year I had partners, and we got a really nice condo. We were at the Durango Casino right next to it last year. Beautiful condo. We have our own balcony. It was just magnificent. With 2 people, it didn't cost a whole lot. And, you got your own house. And with me, my drive from my house here to Vegas is only 2 hours and 40 minutes. So if I was running bad, Joe, I just went home for 3 days. I just relaxed, and I watched birds fly around in the backyard, have a cup of coffee, and play with my dog, and get my mind right again before I went back for another tournament.
I like that. That's great advice, especially the just taking care of yourself, while you're grinding, because Like you
Don't
said,
play every day. If you wake up and you know what, you're just not feeling it, stay home or stay in your condo. Go do. I don't care what you're gonna do. You know what? Watch Game of Thrones for 8 hours. I don't care what you're gonna do, but
go see the Grand Canyon or something.
Go walk around the Caesar's Forum shops and do people watch. I don't care. I won't play if I'm not in the right frame of mind. I just won't play.
Right.
If I don't feel, some days I wake up and say I'm gonna kick everybody's ass. I literally do that, and I do other days. I don't even know if I even want to go. I don't know if I want to drive 60 miles to LA to deal with the traffic. I should never leave my driveway if I'm thinking that already. And so every day is different.
Nice. All right, I like that. So, we touched on it earlier when we were talking about skills you learned with law enforcement. What skills what skills translated from that to the poker table? I feel like I know the answer, but I want the audience to understand this. Yeah, let you explain it. Yeah.
Tells from people. When I interviewing suspects, they're switching around. They're doing this with their hands. They look away. They look on their lips. They hesitate. Well, you see the same similarities in poker all the time. You remember a hand 8 hours ago playing against that guy heads up, and now 8 hours later, same, moving around, looking his chips, looking up. You can catch all their tells on there, and you can. I love to take advantage. I think that's what makes my game better. I catch on to that. I catch on to the tells, or I see the weakness where I can take advantage of that, where I can do a re-raise and get them out of the pot. Because I see that weakness, what they're showing. And it's massive. I also bring that over into fantasy football. Some people too, not as much, but fantasy football is a little different. Guys that have their teams, they're pretty much set, and they're going to draft their particular way for their only 3 or 4 teams that they have. I don't do that. We'll talk about football later, but I do a different strategy as far as that.
I do too. I'm kind of a freestyle drafter. I don't have one specific strategy that I stick to, but I agree with you. There are some guys that do, and I call it opponent profiling. I do it. Everybody, you name it. If you've drafted against me at least once, I have notes on what you did and why you did it, especially more than once. Right. You know what I mean? Observing your opponent, being observant of everything, developing a feel for when you're playing against them. All of this stuff is, comes into play at the poker table for sure. And just like you said earlier, you were good at getting confessions. So like if people are going to start to talk to you at the poker table, now they've opened up the window for you to probe. You probe. A lot of people don't even realize they're being probed at the poker table.
If they're not super experienced, you just hit the nail on the head. They have no idea. They're telling you everything you want to know without them. They're not even opening their mouth. They're telling you everything that you need to know. And that's what you take advantage of that.
I read, I don't know if you've ever heard of Alan Shoemaker. I don't know if you read poker, study poker books at all, but he's
this Bill Brunson's back in the day. I bought his book.
So Alan Shoemaker come out with a couple of books, and it's all about the psychology of poker and stuff like that, and how you prepare and how you take care of yourself. And one of the chapters in I think it was he had one called Your Own Worst Enemy, and the chapter was people need a Miranda warning at the poker table or something like that,
right?
And it's basically they shoot themselves in the foot because they don't know when to shut up,
constantly.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So that's what you're listening to everything. You're paying attention to moods. Like literally everything goes. You're summing up your opponent. You're giving them a profile. You're developing a feel. You picking up on all their tells. Like you said, you play with them for a few hours. That's all it takes, and you pretty much know where you stand when you get in the hand against them.
You learn more when you're not in the hand. You're just sitting there watching other people play. That's where I'm gaining on my intel for these folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And using that.
all the unconscious ticks, like stuff that they don't realize they're doing.
Take advantage of everything that you possibly can. You go, people, right? They go right to their phone, looking at whatever. Not me. I'm studying every player. I'm watching every turn. I'm watching every bet. I'm watching every reaction of what they're doing. I'm just scoring that all the way. If it's going to help me later on down the road, I'm going to see that. And it's amazing. You do see it, and you see it happening. You see a guy. I'll do a re-raise, like fourth to act, and he's on the button. There's still like 3 more players to get to him. He's already getting. I can see him having his card ready to put in the muck already. Because he's good. I mean, I already had him. Even though, and I would do it when I don't have shit. I don't have crap in my hand. But I see it. I can see it where I was in a prime position. My card representing what I was going after, but I never got it. But I bet, and it was snap folds after I re-raised, and he was the one that was betting all the time. But I saw the way he reacted hours before, the way he cupped his cards that he was going to fold, and I saw that. And I looked across the table. He's sitting seat 8 to the right of the dealer, and as soon as I re-raised, he was already mucking that hand like almost instantly in a row on there. And it's little things like that.
Absolutely. The guy to my right, and this is I love playing pot limit Omaha cash games because a lot of everybody plays too loose. It's just the nature of that game.
Yeah.
And every time I'll have a great starting hand, if the player to my right is already indicating his action before it's even his turn, some people will literally have the raising chips in the palm of their hand waiting for their turn.
Yeah.
It's like, or the guy to my left, I meant to say, I don't know why I said to my right, the guy to my left. And if I have a really good hand, guess what? I'm not raising. I'm limping.
Yeah.
Because he's going to raise,
sure.
And then everybody in the world is going to call, and it's going to make the pot big enough for me to really take a good jab at it and isolate, try to isolate him one-on-one with the far superior hand. So
yeah, I mean, again, you see all those kind of tells and stuff like that, but once you get at the higher levels, 1,000 entry, you see none of that. These guys are
right.
They're freaking monsters. They show you nothing.
It's funny you say that because I've played some bigger buy-in tournaments. When you do play a bigger buy-in tournament and you build a stack and you realize you have a chance to do something with this in this particular tournament, your antennas literally go like this.
Yeah.
And everything sharpens, everything gets heightened, everything sharpens. You're focused the way you wait, and sometimes you'll peek at your cards because when it's not your turn, you literally discipline yourself to the point where you wait till it's your turn, then you look at like everything changes when
100%.
The level of competition gets heightened.
That's so many different levels of poker. When we talked about all the tells stuff like that. Again, those guys know nothing. I passed the years experience playing against them through the years. I know how they act. I know how they bet. So I know type. And of course they mix it up too because you have to. You have to do it. That's poker. You have to do that. But it's a different game playing against 150, $400 tournaments to 1,000 tournaments on a playing. Yeah, you got your occasional 5% you got so much money they don't care. They just want to be seen with Daniel Negreanu, Mike the Mouth, or something like that, and they could care less about their $1,500. But majority of them, that's their grind. That's a lot. That's work to them. And they don't show anything.
Nice, awesome. So I haven't acknowledged the chat yet. I've been focusing on the show here, but I just want to shout out the chat. James Sayo, great dude. Met him at the Fantasy Football Expo last year. We played in the charity football guys charity poker tournament there. So he's a poker guy. He was looking forward to this show. I sent them. I was like, I got a good guest coming on tonight. I sent them the link. He's always in here every week anyway. He's the one. He's the one who types first. He's always the first one to like our shows, and
Right.
Great dude. So just want to shout out the chat. Anybody new tuning in to the Sports Affiliation, subscribe to us. We doing shows every single night. It's not me every night, but we have great content every single night. So subscribe if you're not, the Sports Affiliation. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Duke, I got one more poker question for you, and then we'll bring in secret ace up the sleeve fantasy football guest Joey Brown, because
Joey.
And for selfish reasons, I mentioned it earlier, Duke. I didn't have him join the studio beforehand because I want to get you guys meeting face to face on camera. I wanted to get that moment on live, so I'm looking forward to that. But one more question: what is the craziest thing you've ever witnessed at the poker table? It could be funny, could be disgusting, could be lewd. However you want to take this. What's the weirdest thing you've ever witnessed?
Honestly, I've done thousands of tournaments. I mean, every time there's a funny part or here or there, but nothing's been super crazy. The worst. You did. I don't think you mentioned if I ever had a most horrific bad beat that I've had before. But if I can switch gears a little bit,
yeah. If you want to tell us the bad beat story
on that one, I mean, like I said, you get it every single tournament. But it was 2 years ago, $2,500 mixed triple draw entry at World Series of Poker, and I make day 2, and I have chips. They're paying 58 spots. I forget how many people in the tournament, 500, 600, I don't even remember how many people, but they're paying 58 spots. We're down to 65 players, and here comes the hand that to my dying day, it's just going to live with me. And we're playing Badoogie. And if you're familiar with Badoogie, is 4 cards, and the best card to get is ace 2, 3, 4 of diamonds, clubs, spades, hearts. And that the lowest combination.
Right.
If you get that, that's equivalent like getting a royal flush. I mean, just you hear about it. It's like Bigfoot, but you never see it. It's very hard to get that hand, right? Anyway, here comes the hand. We're 8 players away from the money. I have chips. I'm not trying to just bury cash, and double my money to 5,000. I'm playing well. And here it comes, Joe. I get dealt 6, 4, 3 deuce Badoogie, which is a monster. I mean, it's literally 99.9% of the time you're going to win, right? And our blinds at that time were 15,000, 30,000, which is a lot on our blinds. 3 other guys stay in, and another guy re-raises. I go to the top and re-raise again. There's a ton of chips. I'm Pat, and they all draw 1 card. Another guy comes out and bets, call. I re-raise again, call. Now we go to the 3rd draw on there. I got 64. I got the world on there. Another guy bets. Now the guy that just called the first 2 draws on his 3rd draw, he bets. I'm like, damn, but still, I have a little monster, He bets. I re-raise him. You only need a shovel to get so many chips in the middle of that pot. It was just ridiculous chips that are out in the middle of the pot. These 2 guys still call. I don't know what the hell they got, but I'm really worried about this guy. If he comes over the top me again and re-raises me again, I mean, maybe he got a Badoogie. I mean, the best, ace 2, 3, 4, which is a miracle. But if he gets it, but he didn't re-raise me, so that made me feel pretty good, right? So I show my 6-4 or my 6-4 3 deuce. Here he comes. He turns his card up. He has 6-4 3. Only 1 card in the deck that he can beat me with. He out of the 54 cards in the deck, only 1 card. 1 card. It has to be an ace of spades, and he got an ace of spades on the last card. And I literally I turned white, And then I had all my the pot was over $1 million. I think it was like 875,000 of chips were in the just massive. I was just sick to my stomach. And again, we all got bad beats, but not at this point in the tournament. If I win that pot, I could literally go take a nap out in a garbage can for 2 hours and come back, and I would be on the final table in the World Series. But I would have that many chips, on there. And I was just sick to my stomach. And then not only did I get beat on that horrific beat, 2 hands later, I got dealt an 8 Badoogie, and the guy outdrew me with a 6. He got a 7-6 Badoogie. I'm out of the tournament, 2 spots from even cashing double my money. I didn't even cash that tournament. So I remember walking to my car, and I was just like, I didn't even know I was walking to my car. I was just beat up. I was just what the hell just happened? And that was like the worst beat I've ever had in poker, ever. to do that right there with that amount of money, that prestige, the brace on the line, everything like that, for that to happen on that particular hand, it was just gut wrenching on
Nice.
that there.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it can stun you to the point where it takes a good hour. I'm being generous, but it takes a good hour.
It's been 2 years and 10 months. It's just like it happened yesterday.
But like you said, you walk to the car, you get to the car, you sit in the car, and then you think to yourself, I don't remember walking to the car. Like
I relive that hand all the time. All the time.
Nice.
All the time. Yeah. So
nice. So you never had somebody rip up a pair of jacks and throw them in the barrel?
I had never seen card off the table and throw them at the dealer for sure.
Yeah. That's
last week.
Nice.
But I was lucky. Going back to poker really quick, I had a mentor in my Yoda, and I just watched him, and his name was Miami John Cernuto, and he has the most cashes in the history of World Series of Poker and mixed games.
Nice. I'm glad you brought that up. I totally overlooked that question. If there was any influential figures that
he was my Yoda. I would just, I didn't even know him. I was petrified of him, but he's always in the tournament. He's the man. And I was just, I'd be a spun. Even when I'm out of the tournament, I'd be on the rail. I would just sit and watch him for hours playing, watching how he bet, how he moved, everything like that. And fortunately, one of his best friends is the actor James Woods. On there.
Nice. I've played with James.
He's amazing player. He's got like 3-4 million of winnings. I mean, he's an amazing poker player.
He is a good
on
player.
there. And so we're in LA, and it was during the LAPC years ago when I started playing, 7-8 years ago. And I met James. Hey, do you mind if I get a picture with you? Law enforcement. He loves law enforcement. The cop buddies, they love you. Blah blah blah. So we got our arms around each other, taking pictures, and I send it away. Blah blah blah. And then, hey, dude, give me your number. Like that, and I'm in awe. I got talking to James freaking Woods here,
right?
And then during the break, hey, dude, let's go get a fucking cup of coffee. Let's go hang out for a little while. Okay, James, sounds good. And we're talking. Hey, it's my buddy Miami John, and that's how I met John.
Nice.
And then started hanging around here, and I went to Florida not years ago, like maybe 5 years ago, Hard Rock, Hollywood. And Miami and we both busted out of the tournament, and we wanted to play a 10-20 cash game. And the list is forever. So we're hanging out at the bar, and he goes, hey, you want to go get dinner with me? I go, yeah, that sounds good. That was my first, interaction with him. And then since that time, I'm lucky and blessed to I had 3 other dinners with him in Vegas and stuff like that. Just, 45-minute break type thing, just BSing. But I would just always pick his brain all the time, and just everything about it. He passed away last year.
Right.
And I go, man, I go, John, honestly, you played millions and millions of tournaments. How many tournaments have you played where you won, where you just rolled the field, wire to wire? He goes, Duke. He goes, 1. I mean, this man played millions of tournaments. He goes, 1 tournament in 60 years of playing professional poker. He goes, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. People think that, they just roll us. It doesn't exist. I've never had it yet. I come close at a small tournament, South Point, where I won an OE tournament for like 4,000, where I just out of the gate I was firing, but then I had a little lull. But then I was able to come back and chip up and win the tournament. But just to dominate from start to finish, it doesn't exist. It just doesn't happen. It's very, very rare. But I wanted to throw Miami John out there. He's such a nice man, a class act, and just to watch him play was just a pure pleasure. I learned more. That's how I learned my game after him. And then there's another guy. He's more gregarious, and he's won 4 bracelets. His name's Frankie Odell on there. And he had 1 blind left in the $10,000 World Championship bracelet in Omaha. 1 blind left, Joe. And he came back and won the tournament, won his 4th bracelet, $10,000 amount.
Well, there you go. It can go any way.
Yeah, and so I money, man. All the time, and I don't pick his brain like I do Miami John's. And Frankie, if you knew Frankie, he doesn't give out information. He just don't. You earn it. You get it your own, type thing. But I enjoy watching him play. He's one of the best mixed game players in the world. You like him or hate him, whatever. But you have to respect that man for what he does at the poker table. And he's a really, really good poker player. But those guys I want to kind of acknowledge. And James Woods again. What a great guy. I won a tournament, LAPC. I won an Omaha tournament, like $8,000. my phone rings the next morning. I have a cup of coffee. I think I was looking at football stuff like it. And James, hey, great job! You won in that tournament. I got freaking James Woods calling me on the phone. Saying, hey, dude, great job! You won a poker tournament. I just want to give you a call and let you know you did a really good job. That just made me feel like the greatest thing in the whole world. For him to do that. Nice.
I'm glad you brought James Woods up. I got two stories about James. One is, and I didn't take a picture with him. Maybe I should have taken a picture after hearing your story. But he was at my tournament at Foxwoods, at my table during the tournament at Foxwoods. I think we were playing a $1,200 deep stack. I forget what year it was, maybe like 2008, 2009. And I picked up pocket aces. And he had just moved to my table, actually. It was a table break. He just moved to my table. I forget. It was still fairly early in the tournament. Pick up pocket aces. And a couple people limped before me. I decided to not raise. I don't know why. For some reason, I decided to limp. And I limped. And the next person limped. And then finally somebody raised. And chain reaction, everybody calls. When it comes to me, of course, I put in a 3-bet. I didn't go too crazy with it, but I wanted to narrow it down to heads up. So I put in a 3-bet with it, and literally everybody folded. And I looked up. James was sitting right across from me. I looked up at him, and he looked me dead in the eye, and he goes, "Beast in seat 10." Just like that, and it got me to show my hand, and I was like, "Fuck it!" I turned it over and I showed the aces, and he was like, "Definitely a beast in seat 10." and then like from that point and over the course of the next half an hour, everybody at the table was asking him about Family Guy and all that stuff,
for sure.
and taking pictures with them, and he looks at me and he goes, "What about you, Beast? You want a picture too?" And I looked at him. I looked back at him and I said, "James Woods calling me Beast. That's good enough for me." And I said it just like that. And I never got and then it dawned on me. I was like, I should have got a selfie.
You should have got a picture. Yeah. What a great class act, James Woods.
And then another one. Bad beat jackpot at Foxwoods was up to like 689,000. I want to say it was like the highest it had ever been. People were piling in every weekend. That poker room at the time was the biggest poker room in the world, I believe. And it was like jam packed. It was like 7. Like normally there's like 3 or 4 or 5, 10 no limit games, no limit hold'ems. There was like 6 or 7 going on. I was on the wait list, and James Woods hit that bad beat. That son of a bitch hit the bad beat, right? Yeah, he did. Yeah. You could probably ask him about it. Wow. And he got up when he hit the bad beat. He was done. He literally got up. He had his girlfriend with him at the time too, and he got up, and they called my name, and it was for that seat, right? So I got in that seat, and they were like, "Oh, James Woods was just sitting there. He hit the bad beat." I was like, "Get the fuck out of here, James!" Yeah. I was like, "Of course, James Woods hit the bad beat." That's what I was thinking to myself, and I played for about 4 hours, and I think I sat with like a little. I think I sat with like 1750 maybe. I think the max buy-in is 200. I mean 2000. And within like 3 hours, I picked up like close to 6K. I probably should have stayed. But I was like, my damage is done here. And I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? I wonder what would have happened if I stayed. But that seat was hot that day. I can tell you that much.
Very nice. That's a good story.
But yeah, those are my 2 James Woods stories. I haven't seen him. I mean, I don't think he lives in Connecticut anymore. I know
he's in LA. He's in LA.
He had a house in Connecticut at one point. I'm sure he lived at both, but he used to be a frequent tournament player there at Foxwoods and 510 no limit. Yeah. I've played against him a few times. Great, but yeah, I always had a great time. But I didn't always like a lot of people. I'm not one to push the whole get a picture, talk his ear off. Like the guy's famous. Yeah, he's an actor. Big, you know what I mean. I don't try to be overzealous about it, I guess.
But the thing is, Joe, he's like me and you. He's just when you talk, he's just a regular guy, and BSing, he's not like, how dare you talk to him? And no, he's the nicest man you ever could meet out there. And that, I think that's what makes him super special, because he's just like, actually he is one of us, just talking like that. Yeah, he happens to be one of the greatest actors that we've ever seen. He's got a lot of money and all that stuff, but he's just a regular guy when you talk to him. And it was just a great experience.
Nice. All right, so we've kept Joey waiting long enough. Let's get his ass on here. We're gonna bring you in, Joe. I think you're on mute, though. You're on mute, so take yourself off mute.
Hey, Joey, how are you?
What's going on, Duke?
Joey, I remember we first. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and we were competing against each other. I think in the Silver Bullet, in the prime times, and that's how we became friends. Then we started back and forth on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, just writing back and forth to each other and stuff like that. And I enjoyed the bond with you, and then
absolutely.
Next thing I'm looking, I say, hey, Joey Brown wins this, Joey Brown wins that. This guy knows what he's doing here in the fantasy football world. And
the first year we played, I know me and you talked a little bit. I think I told Joe the first year me and you ever played in the league was 2020 COVID year.
Okay.
Prime time, because we joked about it, because I won the league by .10.
Is that right?
It was over Glenn Lowy. He was in there with us.
Okay. Yeah, but I remember we had some really good leagues together, and we've been in some leagues since then, but I just enjoyed talking to you and going back and forth, and and here we are now, doing this show here together. And
like I said, I remember congratulating you as soon as you won that Silver Bullet overall title. That was nice. That was a good win, big win.
I was gonna say, I think Duke got paid back his .1 a couple of years later.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So are you coming out? Are you going to do Vegas, Joey, coming up, or?
I never have yet. Maybe one of these days. I like to go to both places. I like to go to New York once and come out to Vegas, meet you all, and then one's out in New York. And
sounds like a plan, my friend.
I've been trying to get him to come to New York, man. I need somebody to take that 4-hour train ride to New York with me.
Yeah, Chris has been hitting me up before to go out there too, and I should do that one of these weeks, too. But I always do both weekends in Vegas all the time, But
right.
For one time, I got to do that too. Go out to New York, check it out.
The bar's awesome. It's small, but it's the perfect size. 2 drafts going on. Everybody just bonding with each other. After the draft, we're all best friends. During the draft,
nice.
we're enemies. You know the feel.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Yeah. And it's so much fun, man. Looking forward to that. So all right, Duke. Now that we're on the fantasy football part, we got to highlight some of your fantasy football accomplishments. You got over 500K fantasy football earnings in your lifetime. I just hinted at the Silver Bullet title you won in 2023. This man won. So for those of you who don't know, the Silver Bullet competition is the industry's only single entry high stakes event. It's limited. At the time Duke won it, I believe it was 252 teams, but I think it's up to
275 or something.
I think they added to it, but it's single entry only. A lot of these guys, Duke included, will fire multiple bullets into the prime time and in the regular online champion football guys. This year it's called Football Guys. In the past it's been called the RotoWire Online Championship, but this one you can only fire 1 bullet. It's limited to 250 entries. Top 3 teams make the shootout, in which the winner of that shootout gets $50K. Duke won this event 2023 on a Patrick Mahomes nail down.
Make 2 nail downs.
two nail downs. Yeah. Okay. It was 2 Patrick Mahomes nail downs, and Duke sailed the victory. It's definitely, I know the prime time is worth a lot more, but I feel like the Silver Bullet's got more sentimental sentimental value to it because
you got one chance. That's why.
Yeah, you got that single entry.
You got one chance. You can't. Nobody can say, "Oh, he's got a million teams. Of course, he's going to win it every now and then." Not so really. You got one shot, and that's it. And so, that was very satisfying. That to me, I mean, hopefully, I can win a prime. Prime. I've been so close in the OC, but that's more satisfying than those others because you only got one shot. That's it.
I agree.
Absolutely. So I definitely wanted to mention that. Duke, you want to talk about some of your biggest fantasy football wins?
Yeah, sure. I love NFFC or NFC now. With Greg and Tom, I think they're the best high stakes fantasy in all of football. If you're out there listening, Greg, Tom, keep it up. I just love everything that you guys do. I've been fortunate enough. I didn't go to the inaugural year, the first year, because I was still loyal to WCOFF back in the day.
Oh, yes.
So I missed the very first year, but I've been with Greg and Tom for 22 years now, whatever, 20 some years now, nonstop. I've been fortunate enough. I've won 8 primetimes. I've won 8 classics. I won a national championship with Silver Bullet. I'm pretty sure I have the most wins in the history of NFFC regarding OCs. It's in the hundreds now. I'm pretty sure nobody's close to me on that.
That's league wins, right? League wins.
League wins. Yeah, league wins. I don't think nobody's near. Chad Schroeder, I would have said would have been second, but he's really tapered off now. He hardly even plays that anymore. So I'm pretty sure I passed him as far as that goes. And I had the highest 275 points in 1 week. That's a record. Still in the prime time in week 2. I did that a couple years ago for one week, 275 points. That was pretty crazy. I think I have 2 undefeated seasons. So I think I got a pretty good resume over there,
Absolutely.
So maybe one of these days I'll hear something from Greg and Tom as far as getting something, but I gotta wait and see how that goes.
You're not in the Hall. Wait a minute. You're not in the NFFC Hall of Fame?
No, I'm not. I'm kind of.
I know. Boy. We'll have to talk to Greg and Tom about that. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's kind of, yeah. But maybe, I'll just keep my fingers crossed, keep grinding away. We'll see what happens as far as that goes. But I enjoy everything those guys do. It's just a first-rate job that they do. And then every Sunday we all get together at the Westgate after they're all done with their drafts. We're done with our drafts, and we just have a great time over there. Drinking beer and watching all the football games at Westgate. It's free to get in there, and it's just we're there all day long having a really good time.
It's the best format out there by far. I mean, the tight knit of the friendships that we never really see each other face to face like right now, but behind Twitter and NFLC is so bonded.
Yes,
people, and like I said, the competition is just off the charts.
It's you nailed it. The competition is just elite. I do a handful on the other one, the FFPC. It's night and day. It's night and day when I do an online championship. It's just. I'm sorry, no disrespect, and I like the other one. They got the $1 million carrot and everything else over there. But when I'm in a draft and I'm doing online, and I got Nelson Sousa and I got B-Waz, and I got you guys, over and over and over again. Mike Sanda. I can go on. I can go on and on. You better be prepared. You better be thinking 2-3 rounds ahead what they're going to do. And I've done so many drafts over and over and over again. I already know what the play is. I know who's going to go. I already know what KDS are going to go after. You want to use all those tools to look for any kind of advantage that you got when you play against top-notch guys in the NFFC.
Yeah, like that. You have to. It's just not. It's not for everybody. Your whole mindset changes. I think once it's almost like you're all talking poker a while ago. You have to think on the fly, so to speak. But your mindset's so different than a local league or just prime time and the Bullets. And we can talk about that. I've told Joe, I think they're totally 2 different graphs. If people don't really look at it, there's the roster construction to me is so different. I've had pretty good success in the Bullet because record is out the window, so to speak.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly.
Just give me Josh Allen in the second round for 500 points. I don't care,
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then prime time, you want the record matters just like the OC, so you try to bounce quarterback a little bit later or tight end early, whichever one. Just the record comes into play.
Right. No, I agree 100%. Yeah. It's right around the corner, guys. I'm gonna get my first draft in. We'll see. We'll see. But it's when I get back on July 2nd, forget about it. You'll see me every night doing the night owls and 3 to 5 drafts a day and just going all out. OC is my favorite to draft. I really enjoy that a lot.
Duke, I want to point out a trend that I noticed about you in the draft room. That's now that have had multiple drafts together. When you have either the 1 spot or the 12 spot, I noticed there's no thinking. When it's your turn, it's boom, boom, click, click, boom, and the guy in the 11 spots immediately under pressure, like, holy shit, what just happened? He took one of the guys I wanted. Now I feel like you put the 11 spot, the person that's drafted next to you make very difficult.
Especially in the live events in Vegas. Especially the live events in Vegas. That's just I do it in 1 second. I already know who I'm going to get. I've done so many drafts. I mean, it's like freaking Rain Man. I already know. I don't even look at a board. I already know what rounds, the guys that I want, and stuff like that. And I just do it.
I just think it's awesome because then it goes back to the guy and the seconds start ticking and they keep and they're ticking. And I'm like, Duke definitely just sniped that guy and he picked both picks in a half a second. So now this guy's got literally 10 seconds off the clock before he realized what just happened.
100%, my friend. Yes, exactly what I get.
That I think I'm like, damn, Duke ain't playing. He's fucking this guy up, and Team 11's in trouble tonight. Yeah.
The few times I've been with Duke in drafts, this is one thing I respect about him too, is because he throws ADP out the window. I think he goes after his guy. If he wants his guy, he go gets it. That's sort of the way I am sometimes, but you really never, even though you do a lot of volume, if people don't see your draft, they really don't know what you're going to do.
They don't, Joey, and I could care less about ADP. I really don't.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I am not an ADP sheep. I just go the guys that I'm going to get, and I just go. I just go whoever I want to get. I don't care if it's a round and a half early. I don't care. I think he's going to fit my piece of my puzzle for that day on that particular draft, on that OC. I'm going to get that player that I want to get.
Right.
Absolutely. I feel like people misuse ADP. I think when I like to use ADP, and this is where KDS comes in. You can study the ADP. You can see trends. You can even the NFFC is great. They let you filter it out to like the last couple of days, so you can really get a feel for where people are at, and then it allows you to determine where the pockets are going to be. There's always a pocket of the board depending on what side you're on, either the back end or the front end, that presents itself where that's your opportunity to clean up and scoop some of the guys.
Yes.
For your most optimal build. And that's kind of what I use it for. And that's where, Joe, you say when you have a guy and there's there'll be a couple of guys that you really want, and then you can kind of patch together the rest as long as you stick to your roster construction, and you're able to think quickly on the fly if you happen to get sniped somewhere along the line. Then as long as you score the two guys, the two elbow cards, Duke, I'll use a poker term, elbow card guys. That elbow card that shit starts to shape up your hand. You can see where you will need to reach. You can set yourself. You can put yourself in position where you already know, you convincing yourself, yes, I'm going to reach for this guy here, and I'm going to get him because I'm. ADP says he's going down here. No, nothing's guaranteed. Every draft is different, and it's each of its own. But I feel like that's what I use ADP for. I don't know. I don't want to say I make a plan for a draft because the plans never stick, especially in the NFFC. You got to be fluid, but just those 1 or 2 elbow cards, those 1 or 2 players that you really, really need to make your team clash, your build, what you're trying to do. key parts of your team.
I look for any advantage that I can get, and one thing that I do in OCs, prime time, I don't care what it is I try to take full advantage of KDS all the time. When I got Billy in my league, when I got Nelson in my league, when I got Sam in my league, and I've done maybe 8 to 10 drafts with them the last month and a half, I know who they're targeting. I know who they're going after and stuff like that. I want to be in front of them in particular round 1. I want to be maybe behind them around 4, around, all the way, toward, late in the teens, as far as the rounds go like that go. I think that's huge. For me, anyway, I look at it that way. I think it's a major advantage to take advantage of that. People just say, I just set my KDS 1 to 12, whatever.
There's a whole process.
If I've done 7 drafts with Joe and Joey, in OCs, now here we are a month later on there, and I go back, I look at all the draft boards, I see you guys I don't know if you guys do it. I look at players who you got.
Right.
I target player. If I can get 1 inch extra by gaining anything, I'm going to get. I am going to grind. I'm going to look at every point, 1 extra point I can particularly get every single day of the week. I'm going to do that to my advantage, and I think that does help me. I think switching gears a little bit too when it comes to free agency too. If I see somebody weeks 1 and 2, I go out and I throw money around like it's nobody's business on there, and I go after those first 2 players. Listen, if the rest of your team gets hurt, whatever, so be it. You're not going to win anyways, your top players. But if you get some key nuggets out there, a Puka, from a couple years ago, or somebody like that can just turn things around,
right,
with already a team that you already drafted that you really, really feel good about, man, you're going to be unbeatable. So I guess it's a little nugget I'm throwing out there though. But if you don't throw your money to get weeks 1 or 2, where you can see this guy, hey, you know what? I think they got a prominent spot on this team, to be a wide receiver 2, or a quarterback that that could come on and do really, really well, that you get for nothing, type thing. You can get it for like 5, whatever. I just try to make that kind of move in those first 2 weeks to build on my teams, because literally the cupboard's bare after week 4. I mean, there's really nothing out there, I mean, every now and then, sure, but it's just not happening. And especially this year, the rookies, the college kids coming out, there's nobody to jump up and down about it. Maybe 2 or 3 people I can mention from the draft. I like to refer to there's not a lot of groceries coming in this year's NFL draft from college. There really isn't,
No.
And last year was kind of as far as point wise and everything. It wasn't high scoring games, and it was ugly football, and so I just try to put myself in a position to get as many possible points every single week. I'm just a nonstop grinder. I think being retired too, that's all I do. When it comes to football, when I get back, I just live and breathe it. I mean, I'm looking at everything, weather, boyfriend, girlfriends. I mean, I look at anything that I can to get an additional point. And working folks, they just can't do it. They got the kids, they got the wife, they got, whatever, oh shit, I got free agents to do. I got 2 hours, whatever. I'm every single day, I'm looking for every advantage I can possibly get. And I think that really helps me in the long run because I do such high volume with all these teams that I have.
It really does. And I take stuff I do, like say all Duke's teams, for Carl's teams, Cameron, Tad, all the big guys, and Joe's, and I like to go on like after say week 1. I like to go through the overall roster and say, okay, I want to see who these people drafted. Okay, why did I not take them? They're on my free agency.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick them up for $1 or $2. I mean, why did Duke take so and so, or why? I mean, why? They're just sitting there like. To win an NFC, which you all both know, you have to be a week or so early on the waiver wire.
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness, yeah. And what a great feeling that is too. You get them for a bag of chips for $5 when they're going for 500, 800, whatever now, because now that particular injury happened and with a handcuff or whatever it might be, the situation where you got them next to nothing. Now you're shooting all your fab just now to get that guy where you could have him for nothing the week prior.
Yeah. And then going back to what you all was talking about a while ago, to me, drafting NFC don't start till round 4. And the reason why I say it's based on your KDS, which way you want to build on round 3, your first 3 guys is really your roster build on what you're going to do.
I call it cookie cutter, the first 3-4 rounds. I mean, you can pick basically whoever you want and throw around there. For me, you win in round 6 through 11.
Right.
For me, I think that's where you win your roster. Right there.
You do.
I was always I was Jacoby Myers guy for years. Nobody listened to me. Get Jacoby Myers on your team. He's available at 12th, 11th. I'd snap call on him every single time.
He's free.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain players like, why are they still available there? And I don't care how many percentages I got of them. I'm going to get them every single time, and so far so good, as far as that goes. So.
Nice. So Duke, you're a fluid drafter. You don't necessarily go into, like, if you're picking from the back end, you don't say to yourself that, do you look at the ADP and see like, oh, there's 2 running backs I like. If I get the back end, I'm going to try to get these 2 running backs, or are you taking best player available approach early on until you kind of have an idea of a few paths that you can go?
No,
basically, you have a preferred roster build, or you just constantly fluid with it?
No, I would say my first 4 rounds, I know who I want. I pretty much know that my core that I want to get, and so I'll set my KDs accordingly. I'll set everything who my opponents are in that room. So I know I'm gonna have a pretty good shot at getting those players that I want to get. And of course, there's going to be 3 to 5 fallbacks that I like just as much. That if they take that guy, I'll take my 1 second to call that next player's name to the first 4 rounds on there. And then from there, after that, it's best player that fits my roster for the rest of the way that I'll go after and get, that I want to get, and load up. But it all depends on the flow of the draft, who's in my draft. I take advantage of people that are not as knowledgeable and skilled like you guys are. And you'll see it later on at the end of July, first week of September. The guys only draft 1 or 2 leagues, they get in there and you see some horrific draft in there where we can take advantage of it. I feel like I'm wearing a big old bib, I'm getting ready just to feast all these players that I got in there, and then I get a league with all the other monsters and you get nothing. You get nothing.
Yeah.
You don't even get a piece of bread.
Yeah, there's no margin forever.
Nobody's going to fall to you. It's just not going to happen. That's going to be a really tough league. Nobody's going to win the overall because everybody's so competitive, and they're not going to win an overall island and get really, really super lucky, type thing, and you got to pick and choose, but then we're fantasy football junkies, I see, oh God, there's a night owl, it turns red, there's 2 spots left and I'm sitting here and I'm jumping right in there. Even though there's so-and-so in the league and so-and-so in the league, I just got to get in it, type thing. So. Yeah,
it's hard not to. I can draft every night if I wanted to, but if I felt the need. But I'm a low volume player, really. But I've been pretty fortunate and lucky. I've done
very well. Yes, very
low volume player. I mean, honestly, not like you all have done, but I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, I mentioned Joe before. He goes, hey, what do you do? Like 20, 30 onlines? And I paused for a minute, Joe. I kind of chuckled because I did 2 years ago, I did 108 OCs, NFFC. And I cut back last year to 81 last year.
I don't think that's 81. That's unreal.
And you do everything on your own, all.
I do everything. I do everything on my own. I think I'm nuts. I'll do 60 to 80 hours a week. As soon as that Monday night game's over, in between Sunday and Monday, until Wednesday for the first free agent, and then the following one on Saturday, 60 to 80 hours a week. I'm just sitting here right here in front of my computer looking for every possible point, every player that I can possibly get. And that's all I do. I'm like a freaking mad scientist thinking who I can get to help my team in here, And I have that luxury of doing that because now, my kids are grown. Everybody's out, it's just me and my dogs here and my grandkids and my daughter and my future son-in-law. And, I just get to do, I'm fortunate to do whatever I want to do right now without saying, hey, why don't you go do this? Or why don't you need to do this? I just do whatever I want to do, Hey, let's go to Vegas. I'll be back in 5 days. See you guys later, type of thing. And I'm very fortunate to have that. Very super fortunate to have that.
And I know all 3 of us are guilty of it. I am. I have my phone in my hand while we're watching the football game. I need to add him. I'll just go ahead and throw him in the, throw a dollar bid on him just to have him in the slot.
Yeah. Well, Joe, you're not normal if you don't have a notebook and a pen and you're taking down notes during Sunday football. I mean,
yeah, it's I just love the grind of it, of the free agents, of just you know, and then you win your free agent bid and you bid 555 and the guy bid 552 on it. You know, it's like the greatest feeling in the world. Who knows if he's going to pan out or not? It's like, I nailed that bid, you know, type thing, you know, and I really enjoy that.
So you know, Duke makes a good point, you know, for the audience out there. And I remember listening to he used to be on Sirius XM all the time. Chris Lewis, my brother.
Oh, yeah.
He always made a good point. He said, why hold your money till the end when you can get a player to help you early on in the year? I mean, I don't hold on a lot of money either. I spend it. So if I think I have to have a player, I'll go get them. I mean, I'd rather get 5 or 6 weeks out of a player than just be sitting there holding money.
That's the biggest head scratcher. I'll look, you know, week 11, week 12, that guy had 992, 850, you know, and they're sitting there doing, I mean, why are you even competing? Why are you even in this league? You know, type thing. It just makes zero sense to me. You should not have money unless you're running so pure all season long. And how many times in our hand we can count that where you run pure?
Yeah, right.
All the time.
And normally when you do run pure, it usually destructs on you at the worst possible time at the very end when you're ready for the shootout.
You know, and going back to the poker thing, Maya John, when he put his finger up one time, I ran the table. That was when I won the silver bullet, Joey. I never had an injury. My players, and I killed the draft. I just nailed it. And then I picked up CJ Stroud in his rookie year when we had a great year in his rookie year.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and I picked him up for $5. You know, he was going for like $800 like a couple of weeks later, but I picked him up for nothing, you know. And I had 3 tight ends where they're all white tight end ones. You know, the whole team all year long just went bananas. I won my league by over 200 points. I did that. It just, you know, and I did well the first couple of weeks. And then Matthew Shepard puts up 234 points, you know, and I about crap myself on that Sunday. And then I got the river card, you know, the lucky card with the 2 kneel downs, you know, to win, the national championship. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way, you know. And so I'll never complain again about a bad beat because of the silver bullet, the way I won that. I mean,
absolutely.
That was just sick. It was just sickening, you know, to win that way.
When you're sitting on your couch and you're watching that happen, what's going through your life?
I was sunk in my chair and going, I'm effed. Are you effed? I am done, you know. And then so I'm watching, and there's a minute and 57 seconds left, and Bengals get the ball back. You know, I'm done. Rashee Rice and Pacheco went absolutely ballistic in the fourth quarter on there, and that's who Matthew had. And then Bengals get a couple first downs, and then they throw a Hail Mary with 58 seconds left, incomplete. And then I kind of went on my chair. I went again. Wait a minute. And I know I'm barely losing because it hasn't been updated yet, the scoring. But I know I'm like barely losing. I go, Mahomes going to take 2 kneel downs. You know, I go, and sure enough happens, you know, like 2-yard loss. And then with 9 seconds left, he has to do the clock a second. And then I don't know what you guys do, but you know, I'm clicking my remote, my clicker a million times to get the updated scoring on there. And 4 minutes later, I literally won by 5 inches. I mean, I literally won by, you know, my finger, you know, to win that. And then you got to wait until Wednesday for the official scoring, where you know, on there. So I was just stressing out about all that. I mean, I was just sick as a dog, you know, happy, but it's gonna happen. You know, I'm gonna get screwed. Here it comes. You know, -1 or whatever, you know, on a yard taken away or something like that. But again, I won't complain because of that. You know, to win a national championship that way, which we'll never see that again in my lifetime. Something like that. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen to win a national championship that way. It just, it was lucky. It was lucky at the end.
We got to have a little luck in fantasy football.
It's the same with poker. You can be the best poker player, or you can be the best high stakes fantasy football player. If you don't have that combination of that and luck, you're still not. I'm sorry, you have to have that. And some guys have that. They just have that knack. Like, goddamn Joey, man, never fails. You know, whatever. At the end, he gets me. Whatever. You know, guys have that. Guys that have that in poker, they have that golden horseshoe to go along with. They're very good at what they do, and that combination is deadly.
Right. Dude, I'm sure all these people that may be watching or whatever's playing against you. Like I said, if you see Mankind Nation in your draft, you better bring your A game or you're going to be going home. I mean, that's the good thing about NFFC. Anybody that we play with, it brings you to to a higher standard that you have to bring that to your best, or if not, you're beat already. I mean,
you're
that's
done.
just the
You
way
have
it
to
is.
be on your high senses.
Even
Again,
and
it's so hard.
and even if you crush the draft, it's not over yet. You still
No.
gotta manage your team.
No.
There's gonna be guys that if there was a ranking finished fifth as far as how the draft went, that's gonna kill it and managing their team throughout the year, and they're gonna make their team better. Everybody makes their team better. Nobody truly gives up in the NFFC either. This is when people ask me what's the difference between high stakes and regular. It's for me, it's got to be the effort level, the competition, and the margin of error goes down. You have very little margin for error. Casual home leagues, even charity leagues, you can make a mistake or two and recover from it. In the NFFC, where it's a total points contest, only two teams per league get through to try to compete for the big money. There's other ways you can get in. You can outscore if a team happens to finish with the best record, but not the most points. If you happen to finish in third place and you outscore that team, you can get in. There's ways to get in as a wild card.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But is just the margin for error. You could be, and this has happened to me in the past. You could crush the draft. You could start out week one with a 220 and just be killing it. 180 points in front of first place going into week 7, and you're feeling good about it. And you're not really overspending on fab. You didn't take advantage of adding depth to your team because you felt as though your starting lineup is, things are going good. You haven't had any misfortune yet. And then comes the misfortune. If you can't, we talked about earlier, it's almost impossible to get through a full 17 weeks without any type of misfortune. And if you didn't prepare early on because things were going well, and then that misfortune hits, and now there's slim pickings to help out your situation going forward, you need a miracle. You need some guy to get injured and somebody to step in and produce like they were the starter the whole time, and you need to get lucky and pick that guy up as well. If you didn't prepare right and you're dealing with that adversity and the misfortune and you have no answers for it, guess what? Over the course of the next 5 or 6 weeks, there's going to be 1 or 2 players in your fantasy league that drastically improved their team. They did what they were supposed to do. And every week they're going to cut into your lead, and you're going to see it slowly decimate. And when you get to the end, you're going to be like, damn, I should have been more vigilant early on about adding depth. And that's when you realize, the difference in high stakes and regular.
And to piggyback what you're saying too, Joe, I remember Chad Schroeder. Obviously he's the GOAT of fantasy football. I mean,
yeah.
Say what you want about the man wins. He's the GOAT, And the thing that stuck with me in my head, and this was probably 7 years ago. I don't know if it was Greg or he was on some show somewhere on there. And he said regarding the sprint, and I said this on numerous times, but if I can get as many bulls as I can on there, I have my chances just go through the roof of winning a national championship. And that just resonated with me, and so even the primetime, look at Vaccaro last year. He just dominated the primetime all season long.
Oh, he did.
CMC and Jonathan Taylor. But he did absolutely nothing in the playoffs on there. And that was a shot. But like me, I had a couple years back, I had 33 teams in the sprint, OCs. I mean, I just had a crazy. And then I had 22 last year and 27 the year before. But that puts you so in an advantageous position to win a national championship. And these are teams they're all different. Majority are different players, which is great in a 3-week sprint. Let one of them get hot for the 3 weeks, they're going to take you to the promised land. Now, if you just got 1 or 2 teams, they crap the bed one of the weeks, even though they're a great team and whatever. I have that advantage as far as being a high volume drafter for OCs to be able to do that. I would say 90% of the people can't do that. To have that many teams, and then fortunately, my goal is to get 25 teams every year in the sprint. That's my goal every year for OCs. That's my bread and butter to win money. It's not the prime times. It's, even though I like it to be, and I've done very well, but it's the OCs. That's where I do really, really, do really, really well. And you want to get what Chad said, get as many bullets as you can. It just resonated with me. Absolutely, that makes sense. I mean, my God, I got 25 bullets to your 2 or your 1.
And I feel like there's a threshold amount. And Duke, we were talking about this earlier, where I usually do somewhere between 3 and 6. And last year I thought to myself, maybe 9. If I do 9, just to see, in percentage wise, it really wasn't much different. And I feel, and I did get 4 teams into 4 out of the 9 into the shootout.
And that's very good. That percentage that you just said is outstanding.
Yeah. And like you said, though, once you have one bad week, your team is usually pretty much out of it unless you put up a 250 plus, like out of nowhere the following week. And even then, it's still cutting it close. So, like you said, if you have 25, you're like 500 times more likely to have a team up there in the top 10. Yeah, it's not even close. And I don't think 9 is enough. I don't even think like 12 or 14 might not be enough. I think you gotta be up in the 25, 23, 24, 25, 30 range.
Yeah.
In order for the high volume to pay off. Is what I'm saying.
When I won the Silver Bullet, I think it was 3 years ago, after 1 week to go, week 17 or 16, when the last week of the sprint, I was number 2 in prime time. I think I was number 3 in classic, and I was number 1 in Silver Bullet. I had a chance to win a triple crown with 1 week to go. I was up there in all 3, that high. It was just nuts on there, And then the 2, they just crapped the bed. I think I ended up like 11th overall and 19th overall. They did nothing, put up a 110 burger or something like that, And then when I won the Silver Bullet, it's not like I went off. I think I put up 158. I mean, not horrible, but Matt put up 234. So he made like 80 points, in 1 week. And I had to take 2 kneel downs with that national champ. I guess what I'm getting at though is I had, as far as the prime times and the OCs, I meant the prime time and the OC, not the classic. Prime times and OC, I was 2nd, 3rd, and then Silver Bullet. I had multiple bullets with those guys. I had in the top 15 of prime time, I had 5 teams that were in the top 15 going into the final week.
Wow.
In the OC, I had like 7 teams in the top 20 going into the final week. I was in a really good position, but it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It's just the way it goes. I think Billy won. He had the combination of, I think it was Burrow and Chase. I don't know who it was.
Yeah. He had the 105 point. Yeah, the 105 point Burrow Chase.
They went nuts, whatever, And Billy, I saw a show. I mean, he was like 80 points behind, but he went bananas, and he won the whole thing.
Yeah.
On it, And
well, that's the thing though. That the OCs, you're dealing with probably like 720 playoff teams, shootout teams. The prime time is like 250. And the Silver Bullet is usually like 50 or 60. So the Silver Bullet, you can survive a bad week, I think. Not a bad week, but not a subpar week. Yeah,
143 week 2 of the sprint. Yeah. I had 143. Yeah. I survived it. Nothing great, but I survived it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're dealing with less teams and less variance. Yeah.
Talk about a bad beat. Going back to Silver Bullet. You remember the year Tommy LaBrady, he won the primetime and the Bullet?
Yes.
I dominated the Bullet that year. I had like 2,200 points, and it was either 1,900 or 2,000. So I was like, man, I dominated it.
Yeah.
Won my title. I had Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette on Sunday Night Football, week 1 of the shootout.
And the New Orleans Saints shut
them
down.
New Orleans beat them 38-3, and there I win. I lost. And then Evans got hurt. Fournette got hurt. Brady didn't throw a touchdown. So that 1 week, I went into the shootout leading it. I said, here's my chance. And it was gone. I battled back to 13th, but like I said, Tommy, he won it. He ended up winning that year.
Wow. No, it's exactly how it happens sometimes. You just go, what the hell just happened? You get right between the horns, and what happened, but
which I did learn one thing. I said I'll never go with 3-player stack again. a combo or something, some kind of combo, yes. But I don't think I could ever go 3.
I had a lot of that Cowboy stack last year. How can you not like it with Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you know, and I even got the tight end in the 10th round later. You know,
Ferguson, he was free too.
Yeah. You know, and but I mean, the Cowboys are so bad. It's like, you know, Dak
like
a quarter and a half on the bench, and you know, CeeDee Lamb didn't want, you know, it was, you know, frustrating. But I'll do stacks, Joey, but not. It's not my priority to go out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they may come to you like Fournette was free that year. I had him. I mean, he was basically.
I had a man crush on Fournette when he was with Tampa Bay when he was the lead dog a couple of years back.
Yeah.
It was all Fournette everywhere. I was taking Fournette everywhere.
So really, that's the one that Duke won. I wished I could ever win is the Silver Bullet, because I've won 2 league titles, and I've led, you know, they don't crown you, but I was point leader after 14 weeks. So I've done everything except win the whole thing. But
Joey, I think you got to be it. Do they have it or not as far as historical leaders for Silver Bullet? You got to be like in the top 5 for your wins and stuff like that, are you not?
I might be.
I think you would be on there, because I won one league and I got a second place last year. Glenn Lowy won my league that I was in Vegas, and I got second in that one. But because I know you've done well, you've done really well.
I think Joey and Joe DeGalvo might have the most silver. I don't think. I mean,
there was some guy named Greg Link had 3 championships.
I was going to say one guy has 3. Yeah.
2.
Okay, and you and Joe have 2.
I've still got the 2.
Yeah. So I'll see. Like
I said, I mean, we're all low volume and bullet, but like I said, I've been pretty lucky. I've had 2 prime times and 2 bullets, so that's not bad for low volume. I mean, I've only had 1 prime time, but each year I do it, I just do 1.
Yeah. Silver Bullet is it's a special. It's a special one for sure. I like it. I hope.
I remember messaging Duke in the middle of that game. I said, "Man, congratulations." He said, "It's not over yet."
You got that right. Yeah.
I remember messaging him on Twitter. He said, "Oh, don't congratulate me just yet." But I thought he already had it won.
No, they had the Green Bay game was the last game, and Jaden Reed. So I'm saying that right? The wide receiver, Jaden Packers.
Yes.
There, he had 21 fantasy points in the first half, and he needed 8 more points to beat me for a national.
He didn't even play second half.
He got hurt. He hurt his shoulder. He didn't come back in the game. I thought I was done. You know, so there's another big break that I got. You know, as far as winning a national championship, an injury. So I got lucky there.
Nice. So Duke, as far as 2026 goes, where are you at with prep? Are you ready to draft? Or?
Just a little bit. Looking around, saw the recent drafts from NFFC. I think they've done 2 or 3 drafts, just the first 6 rounds. You know, looking at that, just kind of looking at it. I mean, I see Rasheed Rice goes 13th overall, then he went 22nd in one draft, you know, type thing. You know, it's just I'm kind of looking at it with it's like whatever right now. It's not really just kind of seeing what's going on. When I get back, I'll just be full board right around 4th of July. I'll just be submerged. I won't play any poker for like 3-4 months. I'm just totally submerged in fantasy football. That's all I do. You know, everything will be fantasy football. Looking at everything that I possibly can. Looking at Twitter, looking at draft boards, talking to people. You know, that's all I do. You know, I want to. You know, I like to say I work the hardest. I like to think nobody works harder than me as far as free agency and picking money, because I can do that. And now that I can do that, I enjoy doing it. It's just fun to me. You know, I love every minute of it, and I want to keep doing that. And I just want to win more. I mean, that's what we're here for. We love fantasy football. We want to win championships. Right. We love it. We love talking fantasy football every week. You know, Joe, I only know you because you stood up some podcasts last year. Steve D'Angelo put some out there. We need more of that. You guys are in your show. You're going to get more followers. You're going to get more people coming into fantasy football. It's just a great format to watch and listen, take notes, do whatever you got to do. It's just going to make you an overall fantasy football player, drafter, just watching the game and everything. It's just going to make you that much better. And you guys are doing, a lot of people are really good service by doing what you guys are doing.
Appreciate that, Duke. Joey and I have talked about this before. When me, him, Dan Jewett, Josh. Why am I drawing? What's Josh's last name? Why am I drawing? Josh Bolin. When we get together and we do these shows and we digest what happened on Sundays and we give our reactions and stuff, and we're shooting the shit, talking football with each other, we're really sharpening each other's tools together. Like, we're learning together. Joey's gonna point out something that I didn't see, and Steve's gonna point out something that Dan didn't see, and we're getting different point of views from really sharp players who have their own process that they've perfected and trust in. And it's nice to hear, different opinions and where the evidence, where they're coming up with this, where, it's like you said, Duke, it's just making us better. And one thing I told these guys when they first started coming on the shows with me consistently is it's nice, if we get a lot of views and whatnot, but and people are getting advice from hearing us hash out our thoughts and all that stuff. But what I really get out of it is, I think that one of us is gonna really take it to the next level one of these years.
It's gonna happen. I look at the silver bullet equivalent of winning a WSOP bracelet. You hit the Holy Land, you got what you wanted, type thing. And we've done enough fantasy through our years. We know what we're doing. We think we've got pretty good knowledge of the game. Hopefully, with patience, it's going to hit us, and it's a great feeling. And of course, it's going to come. It'll come your guys' way too.
What I mean? Like, one of us is going to catch fire and have that year where luck is on our side, and everything's just going to fall into place, and it's going to be that much sweeter, because then we're going to think back and we're going to realize that we needed each other to kind of make it happen. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense. It makes any sense.
You listen to the podcast, what you guys had to say. You took all that information, all that knowledge, and it paid off for you. It's a great thing.
Yeah. They keep each other sharp. Iron sharpens iron. I don't know how else to say it, but that's what this is all about for me. And like I talked about what you do earlier, having fun. We do this because it's fun.
That's enjoyable. Joey, what's the name of the show with Vaccaro and Nelson and Modica and Dan Williamson? Empire.
The Empire.
Fantasy Empire. That's another one too. I mean, us as fantasy guys, I look forward to that, having a cup of coffee for 90 minutes, listen to the guys, chop it up, and I think Joe, you even mentioned it there a couple of times. You'd watch it and you make some comments, in the room. It's like, but that to me is like, I love stuff like that. These guys knows what they're talking about, and you want to listen to that, and going back like Nelson or Billy or something like that, when they do drafts, sometimes I say, what the hell they draft that player for? And then I see Chad doing it too. Well, you know what? I might want to take a second look, and maybe there's something there that I'm missing, type that too. And that's the advantage that you can, take advantage of too. Well, wait a minute, maybe there's something more to this guy that I need to look at, a running back, a wide receiver, whoever it might be. And that's why I enjoy those type of shows like that. And your guys, it's just something that you can learn from. You really, really can, and I enjoy it.
Well, that's it. It's eye opening for sure. There's, a couple of sharp guys are on something, and you felt differently. It's just natural human reaction to want to know why.
Yeah.
Why is this guy that I respect as far as fantasy football goes, I know he's a sharp player, and he's on to something before I am. Like, what am I missing? Like,
there was Nelson last year drafting Travis Etienne in the 9th round in 138,000 drafts that I seen him draft in.
Etienne. I was on Etienne. I was
off him all the time, and look what he did. He did amazing. And stuff like that, you got to sit back and take a second look.
Yeah,
and he was big on Javonte Williams too.
Yeah,
Etienne,
7th round. Yes,
I was big on Etienne simply for the fact that it just stunk like 2023 Josh Jacobs. Remember when Josh Jacobs was taking the carries in the Hall of Fame game, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, the Zamir White guy is the next Adrian Peterson. He's going to eat into his workload." They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Same thing with Etienne. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. That only helps him. Now he's in a contract year, and they're probably going to run him to the ground. Like that was my thought. Like, I was like, this screams Josh Jacobs from when we let Josh Jacobs slip to the 8th round that year. I remember.
I remember.
And yeah, no, the ETN is, and I feel like this year people are doing it with, I don't know how you feel about RJ Harvey, but I think he's going overlooked currently.
I see. Well, okay, here's a perfect example. I want nothing to do with him. You know, I mean, the head coach runs 3-4 running backs out there. You know, I mean, name the last time you saw a 3-down back in Denver.
Right.
You know?
No, I understand that, but Harvey is the one getting. I think he's the one getting.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. The guy's
yeah.
ultra talented. It's like the kid in New England, the other running back, the young guy, the rookie.
Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, but I don't know. I mean, and look where they're getting drafted. I mean, Nelson was all over Henry. I remember drafting him in the 2nd round in a prime time. You know, 2nd round.
I wasn't going that high. The best I got.
There's no way. I mean, if you want to win, you have to take chances. I don't care. You know, I mean, so you have to respect it. It did pan out, but I don't have a problem with the pick. I mean, he went for it. He went with his gut. You know, for that particular guy, it didn't work out, but he hit gold on other ones though. So it's just the way it goes.
Let me highlight James. See, James, you're falling for the rookie hype too. God damn it, James.
Yeah,
well, the problem of it is
Dobbins going down is more than likely going to happen than not. No, I mean, I as much as I love the guy and I don't like to predict injuries, but I don't think he's ever played a full season in his career.
It's hard to figure out Sean Payton. He plays multiple. He played multiple backs in New Orleans and everything. So it's
exactly
what he's thinking.
Yeah, it's that's not going to change. That is not going to change. They got Waddle over there now. I mean, honestly, NFL wise, I like Denver. Fantasy wise, I'm no go. I'm no go Denver this year.
I'll take the L right here. I talked to him. I was in the prime time and everything. I was all in on Bo Nix last year. And the reason why, I said he was a top 10 fantasy quarterback. I said, who can make that jump up to top 5 or 6? I'm waiting on a quarterback based on his fantasy points. But he went from 10 to 9. He only moved up one spot. So I take the L on that.
You know what, Joe, though? You weren't that far off there because he did lead the league in pass attempts. So right there, the volume was there. I think just the efficiency was down.
And he ran just enough.
And it was high, and especially if you were drafting him in the 8th or 9th round, so more than likely you were taking another quarterback to support him, I guess, or to like yin yang, like the yin yang tight end strategy. You wanted a quarterback to fall back on just in the event that Bo Nix was the inconsistent quarterback that he was, because he would give you a 46 one game and then a 12 like the next week. So that's what made him maddening, because now you have this fallback quarterback on your bench who is going to get you a 22 or 23, but not necessarily give you the chance of getting a 40. And you decide, I don't like the matchup this week for Bo Nix. You play the other quarterback, and then Bo Nix does a 43, and he's on your bet. Like that. That's what was maddening about Bo Nix last year. I don't think you were that far off with him. If you rolled with him every week in and week out, and you didn't get frustrated and swapped them out for like Jared Goff or whoever on your bench, if you paired him up with I'm sure you paired him up with somebody. You didn't just take him naked because he wasn't that much of a sure bet.
But I know Duke done a lot of drafts. I was always does a lot of drafts. You did too. The quarterback that fell so far from me last year that was free, and everybody thought, they're going to run the ball. Justin Herbert saved me so much. I mean, he was 16, 17 round in OCs or wherever. He was free.
For free, and he started off on fire. He looked great, but what the hell happened?
He fell off in there.
Atrocious. Yeah. He just killed you.
The offensive line,
yeah.
We
everybody didn't take him because Harbaugh runs the ball and stuff. And
now they're saying McDaniels and watch out explosives. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
I like Herbert, but I'm not jumping up and down about him. Okay, switching gears a little bit. What do you guys think about the New England situation? Do you think that quarterback's that good? I don't believe in him. I
Drake
think
May?
they
talking
played
about
one 500 team last year, Buffalo. They played nothing but last place teams the whole season. They got gift wrapped 2 playoff games with injuries. They played the second playoff game, the quarterback had thrown a pass in the whole season on there. They played the worst Super Bowl that I ever witnessed in my entire life. He was just god awful in there. I think he's okay, but to get a tougher schedule, I think he's going to be overvalued this year. I don't hate him, but I don't think I think he's going to be overdrafted. And he's going to be drafted too high. That's my opinion on maybe you guys think differently, but I'm not jumping up and down about him. Any New England players,
I think it depends on if he can land AJ Brown.
Well, that's a done deal, don't you think? I think so. I think that's a done deal. They're waiting until June. They're waiting until
they help him, but I mean he was a little inconsistent as well. Sometimes when I've used him, I've used him where he didn't get no touchdowns or run. I think it's Buffalo game actually. Mm-hmm. And I had seen him on the bench a lot when he did do good, so he was kind of hard to gauge. I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I'll first put my hand up there. Who did I miss on last year was Matthew Stafford. You got him for nothing too.
Yeah,
MVP. Wow. Unbelievable. And I'll have my shares of him for sure this year.
I wasn't off of Stafford last year, but he was my secondary late round pick. I was on Caleb Williams last year late, and that he gave us a top 10 finish. So I didn't really swing and miss completely, but Stafford obviously was, especially with the NFFC format, with pass and touchdowns being worth 6 points. Stafford was definitely better, but it was just because I kept hitting by Caleb Williams. If I missed out on Caleb Williams, then I probably would have had more Matthew Stafford. But there was a lot of drafts Caleb fell. I mean, the New York Live primetime, I got Caleb Williams at round 16.
He's a winner. 16. He's a winner, Joe. Caleb, maybe not fantasy wise, but he sure did have a lot of great fantasy games. But the guy's a winner. He knows how to win, and that's an intangible that a lot of quarterbacks don't have, and he can do. Unbelievable scrambles that we can talk about that he did, last second touchdown passes. And he knows how to win. They have a great head coach. They got a strong defensive team. They got the right pieces in place. I think he can do very well again this year. But they love to run that ball too with the combo that they have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If they're in control of the game, those two running backs.
There you go. And there goes your fantasy output for sure. Yeah,
that's one thing. I studied Caleb Williams' pass attempts very closely last year, just simply because I had a ton of shares of him. But not only that, but there was a lot of sharp people who were kind of writing him off because of his inconsistency. So it's just something that I wanted to really pay attention to, to make sure I don't need to come off of him, come this year or down the road. Because we seen Patrick Mahomes be a fantasy football monster, and then the dynamics of his team changed. The defense got really, really elite, and his pass catching option. He lost Tyreek Hill, so he didn't have that big game breaking deep threat. Score a touchdown on one pass type of deal. He became more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Like an architect. He had to work his way down the field. The offense wasn't as potent, as high flying potent. So things can change, but that team just keeps adding firepower. Like you said, Ben Johnson running the offense. We know that he's proven himself to be consistent in what he does. He's improved every situation he's ever been a part of. So there's no reason not to like Caleb going into this year. But
it's going to be a love fest for Loveland, Colton Loveland, the tight end.
Yeah,
amazing. I mean, wow! Watch out! That guy's special.
Third tight end off the board currently on the NFFC.
Oh, is that what it is? Third? Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes McBride Bowers in the first 2 rounds, and then there's a little drop off to the 4th round, then it's Colston Loveland, and then there's another drop off, and then I want to say it goes Harold Fannin and
probably Tyler Warren.
And Tyler Warren. Yeah, those two guys. There's like one or two. There's like a gap between one or two guys each time, and then once you get past Kyle Pitts, it's pretty much
probably have Tucker.
Which flavor you like the best,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where that ADP is at right now. So I feel like guys like Sam Laporta, Kyle Pitts, those guys are going tight end 7, tight end 9. Feel like they might be a little bit of a value. With Harold Fannin and Tyler Warren, jumping into the top 5. So, and Colston Loveland, of course. But I'm with you, Duke. I think, Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, they're both going in round 4. Roma Dunze's going in round 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's the current.
I don't pull the trigger on those guys just because there's so many mouths to feed fantasy wise.
Right.
For the Bears. I'm going to have a different 4th, 5th rounder on my team.
I said that to Joey. Joey's loving Odunze out of the 3, but is 5th round Odunze really worth it? I said that to Joe. I said that it's probably the best way to approach the Bears this year is to just take Caleb Williams. I said that, yeah, or grab Monangai is really cheap. I mean, if DeAndre Swift would have missed time,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And Swift is going round 4, round 5. Monangai's back in round 8, round 9. So I mean that's why I suggest Monangai out of the group. I'm not saying he's going to pay off every time, but there's a range of outcomes where he could be a monster.
Say what you want about Swift, but the guy was money last year.
He was. I love Swift. Swift, but he's gone a couple of years now without missing time. I mean, that was an issue early on.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So
he knew the offense coming. Ben Johnson had him in Detroit too, so he knew how to run his scheme and offense. That goes a long way too when we build these rosters. People don't look at that, but it does.
Yeah, what a question for you guys too. What the Cardinals going to do? Is the rookie going to be a 3-down back, or they got to pay that $21 million man to take all the goal line? And
that's what I'm saying. I had this discussion with after Billy was part of that live stream draft last week, and he started his draft Gibbs, and then he took Jeremiah Love back end of round 2. And I asked him, I was like, "You're in on round 2 Love?" Because I'm not sure I'm there yet. And he basically explained it to me, and he said, he's like, "I'm not really in love with Love." He's like, "But when you have the chance to pair Gibbs with Love, you got to take it." And I was like, I suppose. And then after I thought about it for a little while, he's currently going like between pick 18 and 24.
He's way up there. He's way up there.
So if all it takes is for them to, say James Conner up out of nowhere retires, or they decide to cut bait with either him or Benson or something.
Yeah,
if that running back room shrinks, guess what happens to Jeremiah Love's ADP? Now he goes from the back end of round 2. Now he goes from the back end of round 2 to the 1-2 turn, and now all those people who took him at the back end of round 2 have a slight edge, and that's just kind of how I'm looking at it. So if you're going to grab Jeremiah Love, now is the time to get him, I guess. I don't see him falling.
It's just on big volume. I'll have him on a handful of teams, but I'm not going after him. Second round is just too high a price. That there's so many studs that are going to be available there. But being high volume, I'd be a fool not to get Jeremiah Love on a handful.
Right. Yeah.
To do that,
but yeah,
and especially if y'all look at where's his old running mate going? Price.
That's a very, very good question. I mean, we'll talk about a perfect landing spot.
Right.
He's going to be very, very interesting.
He might be in the 5th or 6th round compared to Love, and you can build that wide receiver and then grab.
1,000,000%. I mean, Charbonnet, what did you hear? Is it a knee? What was Charbonnet?
ACL.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean that door's wide open for this kid to come here and just take over, So we'll see.
And they also have Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, do you put much stock in him eating into the rookie's carries? Do you see that being a split?
I have as much of that as Colonel Sanders getting Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, I don't.
I mean, he's clearly a back. He's been a backup running back for his entire career to this point. I feel like he did flash a little bit last year, but when Jacobs was out, but like you said, it's probably Price's got the opportunity to run away with it.
It's like the 49ers. I mean, who's going to be behind CMC now? Is it going to be the kid they're raving about now that they got? Garendo. I don't know now. I don't know. As far as that goes. But CMC, man, another one, unbelievable. That guy was just a machine. Vaccaro to get those guys where he got those. I mean, what a start that was. I don't even think it's prime time. Did you see? He won his prime time with that 2 running back, didn't he, Joey?
Yeah. He got CMC and Taylor, didn't he?
Yeah.
He won his prime time.
I mean, those guys are just electric. So we'll see this year, though. But I mean, CMC put him back up there with the elites again. Played the whole season, made it through.
And he wasn't overused like a 3. Like he was basically he ate through the passing game. He got all those receptions and targets. I mean,
it's going to be there again. I mean, it's going to be interesting. The wide receivers, who you got now? With Mike Evans and what's his name? Came over from Jacksonville. Christian Kirk. I mean, those are your starters, unless you believe Pearsall is going to come back 100% with those.
I'm not on him.
It's going to be interesting to see.
I tell you, I told Joe this. Of course, we just now talking online, but a player that people, I mean, you can basically, he's real free, especially these early drafters and these best ball people. I tell people last show or two, I said, you can thank me later, but draft Jake Tonjes. I said, George Kittle had a bad injury.
I was on him last year, Joey. What a great pick when Kittle was out. Get that guy. Very good player.
Touchdown machine. Yeah.
I mean, he will feel that bill. I mean, he'll put up the numbers, and he's going to be Kittle's going to have a hard time coming back. He's got
absolutely. That's a great. That's kind of one of those you want to keep under the hat. Don't say nothing.
Right. He's early like you do in July.
He's terrible. I don't know Tongas. He's a great pickup. I really like him a lot.
He's being slept on. I mean, that's good. I'm glad. But,
no, absolutely. That's a great guy to target there. I like him a lot. I'm optimistic about the tight end for Jacksonville again, come back from his injury. Yeah, he has the potential there. I mean, Jacksonville during the sprint, that was just fantasy gold. Trevor Lawrence, my Lord, where'd that come from? He finally went to the next level for fantasy to do all that. Can he do it again this year? I don't see why not. I mean, we'll see.
I'll tell everybody too, since you brought Jacksonville up. I heard Sirius XM, they was talking about Jeff Mans and all of them. They was we're on
Jeff Mans.
Tootin'. I'm not a fan of him.
He's the worst.
I can't stand them. Don't get me started on them.
Yeah. And he's all over Tootin'. I'm telling everybody right now, and it may backfire on me. I'm in Kentucky. That's where I'm from. And Cohen had Chris Rodriguez. And he put up 1,500 yards at Kentucky in his office. I'm not saying he's going to put 1,500 yards up. He will use him. He'll have valuable touches, and he's RB3.
At worst, he's going to be the goal line back, don't you think?
Yeah.
At worst.
Yes.
I'm talking like
40, he caught like 30 or 40 balls that year he had him too. So
he's a versatile running back, Joe.
I'll tell you what, though, you can't dismiss Tootin, though. That guy could be special.
No, he's good too. Yeah, but there's not many. There's so many committee backfields. I don't really
Man, you can count on one hand 3 down backs now. I mean, they're like dinosaurs now. I mean, they're not already around anymore.
There's not really no bell cow, so to speak.
No, I mean, to start out with, Bijan or the top 2 running backs is going to go in every single draft. I mean, that's like 2 running backs in one.
Yeah,
they're that special.
Or Taylor, he ain't really got nobody backing him up, so he's like a bell cow. JT, so
and CMC, of course. I mean, those are as far as 3 down back goes, but other than that,
Chase Brown. I'll throw Chase Brown in there too. He survived the draft.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%.
Yeah,
I guess Josh Jacobs though he did deteriorate down the stretch from last year.
He's got a lot of miles on him. That's why
he sure does.
Yeah.
And then I just read yesterday it's going to be a 50-50 committee, if you want to believe that, with the Rams. They're running backs.
I do believe that because Blake Corum was he was looking pretty good in his role.
Sure did.
It's gonna it'll take an injury for one of those guys to be considered a 3rd down back, or for Kyron to be the Kyron of the last couple of years. But I
mean, the Rams very could be. I think they should have been in the Super Bowl if it wasn't for that drop punt return against Seattle in a playoff game. That literally lost them the game, in my opinion, on there. Now, what do you expect from the Rams this year? You got Puka falling out of cars, drunk all over the place in rehab. They're a different woman every single week on there. Is he going to get his act together? Can Stafford's back hold up? I think it can. But Devontae, I mean, every time you saw they're on the 1 yard line, I tell my dogs every Sunday morning the pass is going to Devontae Adams every single time on the 1 yard line.
Absolutely.
Every single time was a 1 yard touchdown pass to Devontae Adams. On there. The Rams are very good. They're well coached. McVay, come on, one of the best around.
Absolutely.
They got a young tight end, a Ferguson kid. Then they re-signed Higbee.
I know that made no sense to me.
That made no sense at all either. But we'll see. But they're really good. So fantasy is going to be interesting this year for sure. I'm really looking forward to it. It's like I look at it right now for fantasy. We got our pot on the kettle right now. It's just barely getting warm. The heat. The fantasy and drafting and fantasy shows and talking, and it's right around the corner, and I'm very excited about it.
And
the whales are getting greased.
Yeah.
Just to glance at it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's so much fun. I get the chance to go to WSOP, and it's like I'm in like a fantasy island for 6 weeks. With the poker players, and there's a lot of high stake poker players that play football too, fantasy football, that are really, really good.
Oh, really?
Have you heard of David Baker, professional poker player?
Yeah,
he's won like 15 million. But he won the Circa Millions a couple of years ago. Then he did really good this year. But he actually does a football podcast every week, fantasy football.
Oh, wow.
And he has poker players that he knows, and they wanted to get $100,000 entry league for 12 teams.
Nice. I thought I heard Greg and Tom trying to do that with this new platform.
Well, that was the talk with alleged merged with FFW. That was going to be part of it. But then I don't see it anywhere as far as on the website anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Nice. So Duke, I got to ask you about your quarterback strategy. I ask all my guests this. What is your view on dropping elite draft capital on like a Josh Allen, or are you waiting, really awaiting, and stacking the rest of your lineup, or is it more of a when the quarterback just is sticking out at my face compared to what's available and for the other positions, and that's when it's time to take a running back? Or is there a plan going in? Do you say to yourself, this draft, because you're a high volume guy, this draft, I'm waiting on quarterback, and if I end up waiting and I get sniped and I end up keep waiting, you have a plan in place in you go about it that way, or are you just like, what's your quarterback approach?
Different, again, follow the draft how it goes, but I would say let's just say for percentage wise, for every 10 drafts, I'll probably get a Josh Allen in one or two of those, or something like that. But then I'll wait. I'll get Dak in the 8th round, and I'll team him up, with somebody else. That's usually the way I go. I'll probably do that same thing again this year. I would say 85%. I won't take a quarterback until after the 6th round, and then I'll even get 3 quarterbacks sometimes on there, and I like doing that. And I want to have elite running backs or wide receivers. But then I lucky enough to win 11 leagues in 3 of my leagues that I won. I had Josh Allen on 2 teams, and I had a Philly quarterback. I think 4th round that won my leagues with. So you got to look at that too. You can't just ignore it.
Right.
You got Josh Allen, and I think where did he go? When did the first quarterback go in the recent draft? 3rd round, late
3rd round, yeah.
I mean, so
early to mid 3rd.
Yeah, so I mean, you got to look at that, but I mean, my God, Josh Allen, he's a running back / quarterback. He gets all, and then that's even with James Cook doing. I mean, don't even get me started on James Cook. I mean, I love the guy. I mean, why does he not throw that man the ball? And he's unbelievable, catching the ball, and they don't throw him the ball. And he's not even a 3rd down back. He gets taken out every single time, and you can hear me yelling at my dogs every time they take him out of the game. And the guy, what do you have? 19 touchdowns, 16 touchdowns. Yeah. The guy does phenomenal, but on 3rd down, they take him out of the game.
And they put in Ty Johnson.
Yeah, it's just it's like that is the biggest mind-boggling thing that I think I've ever seen with James Cook. He can be an elite 3-4 running back if they threw him the ball on that team.
Oh,
he's just unbelievable. I mean, he's just every year he does it, and I'm going to get him again. I mean, when I went, he was on my team. I had James Cook on there. He was one of the guys, and Rashad White when he was the 3 down back for a while. I mean, I won those guys, and I got him like in 4th and 5th round, and those 2 guys just took me to the promised land. James Cook just getting better and better, And, I throw him the ball. I throw him the ball, but they don't do it. He'll end up with 25, 32 catches. I mean, come on, that guy, and he's lethal on the wheel route, but then no longer in the game anymore. But I still like him a lot. Chase Brown again. I like him a lot. He's got no running. He's got no competition. Chase Brown. Just stay healthy. He'll be good. Ty Johnson alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one good thing about Josh Allen too. He's pretty durable, even though you take him at high.
He's durable. He's smart. I know he makes stupid interceptions now, but the guy's amazing, and he's very smart. He knows when to go down. I mean, sometimes he doesn't, but he's an elite. He's the best quarterback out there. He's unbelievable. He's really, really good.
I agree. I was going to say the rushing yards. A lot of people, eventually rushing yards go down. Even if the rushing yards go down a little bit, he's going to get the goal line carries. Those are going to be available forever. As we've seen Cam Newton do it into his late in his career.
Yeah.
He's inside the 7-yard line. If the play call isn't a handoff to James Cook, then there's always going to be an option to him skedaddling 7 yards into the end zone, bouncing through a few people. That's always going to be there. I think anywhere between 5 and 12 touchdowns is basically a lot.
Jalen Hurts. I mean, don't watch the game because you'll just get pissed off watching him play. But at the end, he ends up with 28, 32 fantasy points, because of the rush, and the tush push, and because he's not a good passer, and then who knows about Mekhi Lemon, and the Slim Reaper, how they're going to do.
I got to be honest with you. I'm a little worried about Slim Reaper, wide receiver 1 on his team. He doesn't I was just going to say he doesn't shy away from contact, but can he handle that type of a role?
Can his body hold up? He's
week in and week out. I mean,
he's going to be a 3rd rounder. No, he's going to go in the 3rd round, I would think. Where'd he go, Joe? End of the 3rd, mid 3rd, end of the 3rd.
Right now, he is, let's see, Devonta Smith, wide receiver 18, 38 is ADP 38.2.
Yeah. Okay. End of the third, early fourth.
31 max, 44, the latest. Yeah, that's high.
But they were teammates in college, right? Or am I wrong on that? Hurts and weren't they teammates in college together? They were best friends. They're best friends.
Hurts they played Alabama for a while. Then he went to Oklahoma. Or Hurts.
I'm pretty sure they were teammates. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that. But yeah, I mean, he saw all the stories of AJ Brown. He was like the cancer over there, and nobody liked him over there. That I was reading.
That's not how I saw it. I thought, I didn't think that he was. I mean, he didn't handle it the right way. What was going on, but I don't think that he was the core of the issue there.
But had quite a few issues.
I'm an AJ Brown fan though, so I'm going to stick up for. But yeah, I think he's still an elite wide receiver, and
Oh my goodness, the size and the speed. And I mean, okay, yeah, we'll see with New England. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to do well. I just couldn't pull the trigger on him last year. I only had him on a handful of teams.
Yeah, I didn't have much of him last year either.
Yeah. It'll be the same situation. And then for me, this year's Buka scares the hell out of me.
Does me too.
Yeah, I mean, with his knee, and then now just with that, partying and rehabs and all this and that. I don't know.
It was like out of left field too. Like we didn't hear any of this being a prior issue with Buka.
Nothing. I know he's a great kid. He's hung around with some other NFL family. I forget who they mentioned. What a wonderful kid this kid. And everywhere you look, he's drunk and strip clubs and falling out backward drunk and.
I like that clip of him diving into the backseat of the car. That was
like what the heck's going on here, But I mean, he's a machine out there, man. He don't care. He just goes after that ball and makes amazing catches.
I always tell everybody, so he reminds me of a Marshawn Lynch playing wide receiver. He'll just run over you. I mean, he scares me, especially low volume. I'm like, when you take him that high, anybody can get hurt any given time. But it's like last year. I had the 10th pick and I let Chad Schroeder have a gift. He was 11th in the prime time. I said, well, I'm going to do him one prime time. I'm not taking CMC there. I said, I'm going to take my guy who I was all in on. I was all in on Drake London. He looked good for the first.
Oh, me too. I'm a Drake London fan. Yeah, I was too.
So Chad got a free gift with CMC in our league.
Wow.
And I said, I don't want to give him to. I said, I don't want him with one team. I said, he goes down. But I said, I'm going to have to get out of that fear. I said, I'm just going to just take whoever,
You think you gave Chad a gift? Me and Steve D'Angelo live streamed the draft last year, and he had a chance to take CMC at 17, I think.
Oh my God!
And he took, I forget who he took, but guess who was picking next, and probably was dancing in his chair. Billy Wasowski. Scored CMC.
Yeah. I was not on CMC at all last year. I had him on two teams, and both of the teams won my league, of course.
Yeah.
I only had him on two teams.
I wasn't trying to get him early on, and then I was as we got towards August and stuff, I started seeing the good reports about him, and even though we've gotten good reports about him before, and then he missed time, so I felt right about it, and then I was like, I think I'm going to get him if I have an opportunity, and then I never got an opportunity to get him, so I didn't have any CMC last year, but I was willing to pick him after he moved up because of the positive reports and the fact that they did nothing to put anybody behind him. I mean, they traded for Brian Robinson, but I mean, come on, there was really no urgency going into the season for a backup plan, and I just kind of was reading that as evidence. The tea leaves were telling me, should have been on him the whole time.
What are the tea leaves telling you guys about Scattaboo in the 4th round?
That's tough. That's another high risk. I'm off of it, and I'll tell you why. Because Joey, we mentioned this the other day. Joe, I brought it up. There's a guy going in the 9th round that's part of that backfield who I expect to still be part of that backfield. They didn't add anybody. I mean, there's still free agency and time to go till September, but Tyrone Tracy is he's no slouch.
Nope. My over and under is 4 games for Scattaboo. He's going to get hurt. He's a little guy. He's a little muscle guy. Those are grown ass men out there, man. He's just too small. And you saw what happened. I can see the exact same thing happen again. I like Scattaboo. Play him while you can, but in my opinion, I don't think he's going to last. He will not last. He is not going to last. He's take too much of abuse. Too many hits out there.
And just like that, I mean, how much more hits can Dart take? I mean, I love him.
Oh my goodness, yes, 100%, Joey. Yes.
I mean, he's almost like the Tua out there, ain't he? I mean,
the thing that sucks about him about that is if he stops running, that's gonna hinder his development. Because,
100%. That's like Lamar Jackson. He doesn't run anymore. It's the same thing.
You don't.
He was horrific. He was terrible. So and I mean, speaking of the Giant, what do you do with Malik Neighbors? He absolutely destroyed me last year. I had him on so many 1st-round picks. He just gutted me. And what do you do with him this year? All of a sudden he's there. On the reversal in round 3, going at 3-2. There's Malik Neighbors sitting right there, on your window. What do you do with him? Like an apple pie? What do you take him? I don't know. The guy just killed me 2 years in a row.
I saw you landed, Duke. How many shares did you land of Olave? He had to be one of the best wide receivers where he was going last year. Chris Olave.
Oh, no. I was off on Olave because of the concussions.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, really? Because of the concussions. I was on him the year before, and he got hurt. And I'm on him now. Even though they dropped the rookie. They love the rookie they got. But
he was probably a wide receiver 4 for
he's amazing.
Last year.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know what? And that quarterback is underrated. That kid's got the potential. Am I saying that right?
Shuck.
Yeah.
Like shucking our oyster.
Yeah, he's not bad,
Kellen Moore's almost a cheap version of a second-year offense like Ben Johnson, isn't he? I mean, it's almost like a
piece of play.
Version.
Don't you think Kamara's going to get cut? Don't you think? I mean, I don't see a 50-50 timeshare. I just don't see it.
No,
he's just last.
They still have that rookie, that was second year.
He was hurt all the time though too. Yeah,
they had somebody else too. I can't remember who it was, but
I was saying that I could see Kamara retiring if they're going to cut him.
Yeah. I am.
Well, let me ask you this: if I get beat up out there in Denver, would Sean Payton bring him in, Kamara?
Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me to see that happening.
I mean,
I mean, he likes to fill the cupboard for running backs for sure.
Well, she drafted a rookie running back too.
Does Kamara want that though? I mean,
Kamara, the last time if you heard him last year, he goes, I'm a saint. I ain't going anywhere. If you remember,
he said he basically was like, "I'm done. If the Saints are done with me, I'm done with football."
Yeah.
That's why I say I could see him retiring if they end up parting ways that way. I don't know. Even if he doesn't retire, I mean, what's he gonna get? Like a couple of third down snap here and there, like. It's hard to say because ETN's right now he's in the prime of his career. He's in I know that they
interesting fantasy pick ETN. Where did he go in the drafts there? 4th, 3rd, 4th?
ETN. Let me bring it up real quick. Here we go. We got ETN is currently going RB 17. At pick 36, so he's gone as early as 29, and he's
right in the middle of the 3rd round,
and he's fallen as far as 47. So he's got a wide range, 29 to 47. He's going after Kyron Williams, after Breece Hall, after Josh Jacobs, after Derrick Henry.
Did Tootin even get drafted in the first 6 rounds of those leagues?
Tootin is going pick 64.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Through 5 drafts. We're working with a small sample size. It's only 5 drafts. He's got a 53 to 76 range, but his ADP is 64. RB 25. He's going after Montgomery, Swift, and Judkins, and before Harvey, Jadarian Price, and Chuba Hubbard.
Wow.
Give me Chuba.
Well, it's his backfield again. You know, the kid, poor guy, 2 years in a row, ACLs, whatever.
Yeah, I don't worry about him.
I don't think so either. Yeah,
there's not much of an ADP gap between the two.
Wow.
That's Chuba's
RB 28 and Jonathan Brooks is RB 38. Is about let me see how many picks.
I mean, he's not really played a full snap of football in forever, you know, even a training
long time. And how about Marvin Harrison, guys? What about him? You cut bait with a guy or you stick with him?
I don't think I'm totally out on him yet.
I'm not out on him either. I'm stubborn with him. I'm not out on him either. Yeah.
That team, and I know that they got a new defensive coordinator and they improved the personnel a little bit, but I could see them easily finding themselves on the wrong end of the scoreboard, game scripts playing into the passing game, passing volume still being there, despite who the quarterback is, whether it's Brissett or the rookie Carson Beck, or there's rumors I hear about Aaron Rodgers going there now. I don't know why. If I'm Arizona, I'm trying to get a high draft pick next year so I can actually get a real franchise quarterback for the future. To go with my young core, you know, you have Marvin Harrison, you have Jeremiah Love. They don't need an Aaron Rodgers right now. They need
Carson Beck too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's I don't think he's the long-term solution either. He might be the Jacoby Brissett's taking a beat and let's put him in and lose some more games quarterback.
And then with the ADP, Marvin Harrison and Wilson are practically side by side. Like
I was wondering that. I
think they're like right next to you, like 4 picks apart or something like that. They're really close.
Yeah, that tells me that I hate that Michael Wilson is wide receiver 35, Marvin Harrison's wide receiver 31.
Wow, yeah.
They're only about 6 picks, a half around the pot. Give or take some areas, but
not taking nothing away from Wilson, but we all sitting here and read what I'm getting there to say. We all probably know it's probably true. How many before Michael Wilson became a thing? How many times was he on the second team throwing with, catching passes from Brissett before he ever became a starter? You know,
I want to agree everything what you're just saying, Joey. But my God, the guy just kept.
He looked good. I mean,
he looked phenomenal. He looked so good. But then again, Marvin Harrison's out a lot of those games too. So that's switching gears a little bit. Now let's talk about the Green Bay receivers, the two. Who do you like better? Jaden or what's his name? He's always hurt all the time.
Watson.
Yeah.
I like Watson personally, but I'm not opposed to seeing some positive regression out of Jaden Reed this year. With
they just paid him a couple weeks ago with another new contract.
I know it. I mean, that shocked me too.
Yeah.
He's usually in like the 58 to 69% snap share range. I could see that going up. They kind of condensed their wide receiver room a little bit. Dontavian Wicks is out of the picture. Romeo Dobbs ain't there no more.
Is Tucker pass targets available now?
Yeah, is Tucker Kraft going to be 100% to start the season? Are they going to run the ball as much as they always have? Could we see them pass a little bit more this year? Every team is in that division is improving. I mean,
I don't know how good much improvement Golden's going to make this year. He's second year.
Yeah, Golden. Golden didn't show us much of anything, and they did, and he was nowhere near used as like he didn't. I don't think he had any games with double-digit targets, right?
If Watson can stay upright, you could probably see 10 touchdowns. And I mean, he's going to be your red zone threat outside of Tucker Kraft if he's healthy. I mean, maybe Kraft is more. I don't know. He's pretty good, but I like Watson. But I don't know if I want him as a wide receiver 2 or maybe a 3. Maybe a 3.
Yeah, even that's tough. Yeah, put him in your flex. Are you really that confident?
I don't know. No, not really.
What do you guys do with A-Chain and the Dolphins now, guys? A-Chain and that's it.
Stack the box.
What do you do? The guy was phenomenal.
He's gonna live. His fantasy life will be alive as long as he's catching passes.
I think as long as he's healthy, he plays 17 games. I love him. Regardless of having no wide receivers, nothing. But I don't know. It's a scary pick.
It is.
It's. I feel like he's a scary pick every year. There's always something to pick about A-Chain. But yeah. How about DJ Moore, dude? What's your thoughts?
I like him.
Yeah,
I like him. I've always been a DJ Moore fan.
Me too. Same.
That poor guy's out a head coach, a offensive coordinator every year. He never had no stability anywhere. I think he landed in a really good spot. No, I love what's the slot guy, the little guy over there. He really good. Yeah, 85. He did really good, but I like it. I think he landed in a really, really good spot. I don't know what to do with a knucklehead, dumb as a walk wide receiver. What's his name? Third-year guy now. First-round pick. He got suspended. He was inactive because he kept missing
Keon Coleman.
There he is. Yeah, Keon Coleman. If you remember him in week 1 last year, he went off the charts in that wild week 1 game. It was unbelievable. The Buffalo game was just fantastic, and Coleman was just went bananas, and then he just became Keon Coleman again after that.
He's like 1 yard line Devontae Adams without the Devontae Adams talent. Yeah.
Well, that was Mike Evans with Baker Mayfield too. Guaranteed on the 1 yard, and it's going to Mike Evans.
Yeah, DJ Moore is currently going wide receiver 28 at pick 54. He's in the 50 to 58 range.
So 5th round as your third wide receiver.
Yes, that's an edge. That's an edge. I send myself text messages. A lot of it is fantasy team names that I think of that I think is cool, and I want to name my team. That I'll text myself so I don't forget. And then the other stuff is early, like right now I put 5 or 6 little notes about what I think is early 2026 edges in early drafts. And 5th round, DJ Moore, just the way you said it, Duke, as your wide receiver 3, or even your wide receiver 2, but even much better as your wide receiver 3 in that build. That's an edge, in my opinion.
I like it.
That's one of the notes I have in there right now. That's actually the number 1 on the list. And I could see him moving up come August. I don't think he's going to be that cheap.
Y'all go back like y'all talk about DJ Moore. I like him too. Historically, he's never been a red zone guy, but if you put his same numbers up that he gets every year, and you just throw in say 4 more touchdowns, 8 or 9 touchdowns on, he's going to have a monster year. He don't have to have double digit touchdowns to have a monster season. He's going to have one in that offense in 8 or 9 games. And one good thing too, he's coming from Chicago to Buffalo, so he's used to the cold weather too. So that's not going to be no big deal either. No. So it's a perfect landing spot. Like I said, he usually averages 4 or 5 touchdowns. When you give him an 8 or 9, that's a monster season for that guy. Where he's going.
Lots of grade, who knows, questions coming up for fantasy. Ashton Genty, is it going to be all that? Chip Kelly did everything possible to ruin that kid. then they baby him, and then he finally, throwing him balls, and he had a fantastic last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. I like him. I'm on the bandwagon for Ashton Genty. I think he's special.
I think RB1 is in the range of outcomes, too.
100%.
Yeah,
I think he's really good. I think they did an exceptional draft. It's hard to saying exceptional draft and the Raiders in the same word. You just don't hear that, But I think they did a really great job this year. They got a center to protect the quarterback. That would have great. Maybe they overspent him $82 million, whatever. But wow, we'll see. Brock Bowers. I think he could be the number 1 tight end this year. Right head to head with McBride there, but he's right up there with him. He can stay healthy. Right. Wait and see.
Absolutely.
Wide receiver. I don't know.
James is telling us Genty's schedule is very tough.
It is tough.
I will make this point, though, James. With the tough schedule comes positive game script for a pass-catching running back. Yeah. And we saw Ashton Genty have a couple of eight reception games down the stretch last year. And I think, 60, 65 plus receptions isn't out of the question here. And I think if he puts that up and he's just as efficient as he was last year running the ball, or even if he improves that just a little bit, you're talking, clear-cut RB1 in my eyes. I mean,
he played good down the stretch last year.
Yeah, I think he was starting to build some momentum there, and I think he's gonna get the targets and receptions. So he's one of the true three. He's one of the few 3-down backs there is in the first couple rounds for running backs.
I think the Raiders made a sneaky pick by getting Naylor. I think he's a decent. Yes. I think he'd be like a Jacoby Myers, a possession type receiver type thing over there. I think he can do pretty good. Throwing you some touchdowns in there, but he's a good ball player.
Touches and the
reception. Yeah. Well, he's in a good spot to do it. I mean, the wide receiver core. I mean, the rookie Beck? He did anything last year, and they got the other kid, the 3-year guy. I talk about him, but he has an opportunity to do something. So we'll see how that goes.
You see Mike Washington. Well, I don't think
my buddy Derek. He's a good man.
I don't know him.
Derek, he's a great guy. Yeah, I met Derek. We're doing a primetime live in the Vegas, and he goes, "Hey, there's a kid that you should look at." And I'm telling you, dude, you want to keep an eye on this guy, Puka Nacua. You must say because he didn't even get drafted. He was undrafted. He was, I don't know what he was, but he mentioned Puka, and Derek, he nailed that one.
So he plays in the prime times and stuff.
Yeah, Derek's a good man.
Is it Derek Greer? Is that his
Derek
name?
Greer? Yeah, he lives in Ontario.
I reckon.
It's like a half-hour drive from my house. He invited me over. They had a big catfish dinner at his house like 2 years ago, barbecue, and it was fantastic. It was really, really good. He's a good man.
Yeah, I did a couple of drafts with him last year. Actually, he sniped me on Devontae Adams a couple of times.
Derek,
in the early drafts, I wasn't too thrilled with him, but
he got to show me his little war room at his house. He has charts and everything. I mean, he's into it. And,
he's a good draft. No, I drafted next to him. He made that draft hell.
Yeah.
Is he on Twitter? Is he on Twitter?
He had a message. He just came on a message here. About Washington.
Yeah, I see that. I just want to be on Twitter. I have to follow him if he is.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're friends on Facebook. I don't know about Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll drop it in the chat if he is. Now that we're talking about it. I mean,
yeah.
There it is. There it is. There's your handle. We'll throw it up there for you, Joe.
There we go. Thanks, Derek. Yep. Yeah, he loves his Rams. Loves the Rams.
That's why I couldn't get Adams.
Yeah, he loved the Ram players. So,
well, speaking of that, is how Devontae was that first year in the Rams system. Is Evans going to be that guy in San Francisco? Double-digit touchdowns, or he's going to get them around the one. Well, maybe around CMC gets them.
Yeah, do you guys like Purdy as a fantasy quarterback?
Yeah, and more so than no, but I have mixed feelings about it.
I got him, and then I started on 3 weeks in a row, and he had no touchdown passes, 1 touchdown pass, and no touchdown pass.
He went off in the shootout.
Yeah. I mean, he gutted me. But heck, it was what's his name? The quarterback before him. He was gold.
Mac Jones,
the Patriot. Yeah, Mac Jones. Well, that guy, I got him for like $5 everywhere, and I was starting that guy. He did really good.
He carried one of my dynasty teams for a little. I won a Superflex, my first dynasty title, a Superflex league. So you got to play 2 quarterbacks, or you don't have to, but you know it's optimal if you do. Yeah. I won the championship. My quarterbacks throughout the year were Daniel Jones, Mac Jones. Who else did I piece together? It got to the point where I moved Jamar Chase from wide receiver to my super flex, and then I was just patching together quarterbacks. Justin Fields, I got a couple of starts out of him. I had a couple of starts out of not Shuck. Who was the other one before Shuck took over? Joe, help me out. Who was the quarterback for the Saints early on? Spencer Rattler. That's right. I got a couple of starts. I got a couple of starts out of him, and I somehow managed to win a Superflex league that way. But yeah.
You know, there's so many questions. Who could be the number 1 quarterback this year if he plays 17 games? It's a no-brainer. If you could play 17 games, who would be the number 1 quarterback of fantasy football?
Burrow.
You got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 1 million. Yeah. Horrible defense, stars everywhere. I mean, you play 17 games, man.
And you talk about the real MVP. He is, because he holds so much stuff. Like on Chase Brown was a whole different player when he came back.
Yeah. Chase Brown was the bust the first half of the season, and then he turned into fantasy gold. You know, Chase Brown that we know of.
I mean, he holds so much value for Chase and Higgins, and he is.
Joe Burrow, he's gonna
be the best pure. He could probably that offense could probably throw. He could probably throw 45 touchdowns.
Easily.
A lot of people argue with me over this, including Steve, my buddy Steve D'Angelo, because he's a Josh Allen guy. But I say it all the time. Joe Burrow is the best NFL quarterback there is right now in the NFL, in my opinion. If I'm starting
it's unquestioned. If he's healthy, you're right. Yeah. It's unquestioned, but it's just, you know, if you're going to play 5 games, you know, and bye-bye.
Yeah. And, you know, from a far as a passing standpoint, but he gets so many freak injuries.
I know.
Herbert's probably is as talented with the arm, with the arm strength, but
he throws the deepest ball. Herbert.
Yeah,
unquestioned number 1. Unquestioned.
But he gets so freaky injuries, like hits his helmet. He hit helmets every year. I mean, he's hurt fingers. I've had him 2 or 3 times. I'm like, man, he can't stay healthy. He can't. I mean, he's good, but Joe Burrow's best pure quarterback in NFL.
Yeah. One guy I don't draft, I just don't believe him, is Washington quarterback. He's just too tiny. He's fragile. I don't think he's that good. I really don't. I don't. He I'm sorry. He made a paper mache. He's a bag of glass, and he gets. I love him as a person, as a human. He's a wonderful kid, but fantasy wise, it's not happening.
Talking Jaden Daniels.
Yes. Yeah. He went to high school right down the street from my house here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he's almost like a Jackson Dart. The way them 2 play, they play reckless.
Jackson Dart's big though. He's huge.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
He can't take those hits as a quarterback, Joey. Like you're saying, he's going to get hurt.
And I actually think he is a good quarterback. When I last year, was it last year or the year before? What year did he come in? I remember watching some of his rookie film.
This is year 3, I think. For him.
Yeah, I think it was. Yes, and I remember thinking to myself, I actually think his passing, like his pocket presence and the way he passes the ball, is better than Lamar Jackson for sure.
Well, Lamar Jackson's a horrible thrower.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. But if we're comparing quarterbacks that dual threat quarterbacks, they're able to run the ball as well. I felt like that was his ceiling. Like he could be a better Lamar. But he don't have the size that Lamar has, and that's definitely become an issue for him. We got injuries back-to-back years now.
I see Jaden Daniels. I see RG3. I think they're the same exact players.
They are.
That's why.
Great year, rookie year, whatever. Then they just couldn't take the hits, and next thing you know, they're done.
It's kind of why I moved off them this year in Dynasty. I have 2 Dynasty teams, Duke. I don't know if you play Dynasty, but I didn't play it for the longest time, and then I just started 3 years ago. But this year I traded Jaden Daniels, and I had pick 105 for the rookie draft, and I got in return Ashton Genty and the 102, which the 102 I used to replace Jaden Daniels, and I took Mendoza. Now, I'm not expecting immediate production from Mendoza, but he's been plopped into a good situation, and maybe he can become something, towards the end of the year or going into year 2. So I was running back needy, so I thought that was a great trade for me. Jaden Daniels is like I was telling Joey, you're not going to be able to get an Ashton Genty for Jaden Daniels after this season. That was kind of my prediction. I feel like if another injury or another inconsistent season out of him, and his long-term value is just going to plummet.
Watching the playoff games with Mendoza, I cannot believe I haven't seen a quarterback put the ball perfectly in the receiver's hands at the most anywhere. I mean, just the perfect location everywhere. It was just on point everywhere you look. I was astonished to see that almost all the time. He was always on point. What is he, 6'5"? He's a big kid. I mean, to have Brady and the Kubiak. I mean, everybody over there are not Kubiak, right? Yeah, the head coach. Who's the head coach of the Raiders? The Kubiak.
Kubiak, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to have all those mentors in the room, to have that all-pro center there. I mean, I like everything about this. I think he can do good. He's going to take his lumps like everybody does, but I think he has the potential to be a very good quarterback.
And for his mental part of it, having a Kirk Cousins is 10 times better than having a
what a gift! What a gift to have a class act like Kirk Cousins to come over. Yeah. Perfect. They made all the right moves to make that kid be successful. I don't even care if he doesn't even play. I mean, I want him to, I don't want to get beat up like, Peyton Manning did or Troy Aikman. It's got clobbered, Eli Manning, got clobbered, in the rookie years like that. But I think they're in a position to do well.
That's funny. A lot of people don't realize Peyton Manning threw 29 interceptions.
It was rough.
He put up fantasy football numbers, but the interceptions were right there with it.
Like we was talking earlier, I think Bowers will be your number one tight end because who's a rookie quarterback's best friend? He's going to get with targets.
You talk about having a security blanket right there. Yes,
if Bowers can stay upright, he'll catch 100 or more this year.
Yeah, because the Raiders have the pass catchers really legit. Established, receivers, 100%. Bowers. Yeah. It's going to be a fun year this year, guys.
I think so too.
What ifs coming up. We'll find out more within the next couple of months how it pans out. But
Cleveland's got a lot of answers. So who's going to quarterback there?
Where?
Cleveland.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I don't want Deshaun Watson. I mean, they keep talking that. Garbage.
Only guy who wants the tight end, if I can get him reasonable where he's going.
Right.
But I am so done with what's his name, wide receiver.
Judy.
I just really want him to, reestablish being a number one wide receiver again this year. Yeah, whatever.
I honestly don't know what to make the Cleveland Browns this year. I'm going to do what I usually do, and I wait until July, August, and then I shoot Mike Sander a message. Mike, what are we doing?
Yeah, he loves you. Listen,
Mike, what are we doing with the Browns this year, dude?
That's just a debacle organization. It's just horrific. But I did like the draft this year. So we'll see. But they got such a long way to go. I mean, there's so many. pieces of that puzzle to even get competitive and quarterback and you name it. The kid, like the kid running back, and he blows out his ACL.
I got to keep a team, and I got Quinshon Judkins, and I'm trying to think of who the other player is you got to keep 7. In Quinshon and somebody else. I've been going. I'm trying to. Why can't I have too many teams. I'm trying to decide who I want to keep.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, Jackson is doing well from what I hear, his recovery and everything.
Yeah, it's. I'm leaning Judkins, but
yeah.
Stephon Diggs with the not guilty verdict. Gee, there's a surprise.
Yeah, he's a clown. That guy.
I was telling my wife, I was like, there's no way that this chef out of nowhere, like 3 years later, is claiming this. I said to myself, here's what I think what happened. And obviously, this is speculation. She wanted a piece, and he was like, nah, I'm all set. And she got all butthurt about it because he's, getting all these other girls pregnant, and they're all getting the paycheck from him. And I think that she just was like, I gotta come up with something to try to get some dough out of this guy, and that's really how I was saying this months ago on the show, Joe, and then you see the details of the trial and how
her testimony was just horrific. Horrific. It was like cartoonish. It was like cartoons.
I'm like, I knew she was trying to take advantage of this poor bastard. Yeah. And it's like, you hate to see it because it's terrible when the circumstances are true, and then you see it like this. It's just like taking advantage of somebody with a bad rep.
So you got him without a team, Diggs, and now what do you do with Cheetah? Because he's going to come out next month and say, I'm in the best shape of my life. Well, you're going to hear all that, bells and whistles, how great he feels. I don't want none of those 2 guys on my team.
I don't either.
And then you still got Ayuk floating around.
Oh yeah, throw him in the mix too.
Yeah,
how to ruin your career, huh? Wow. Yeah, those guys. Yeah, they had TJ Husbandata on a podcast a couple days ago talking about Ayuk. He goes, I don't want a guy like that on my team. I don't want a team like that. Flat out said it. So
nice. What are we at? So we've cracked the 3-hour mark. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time we've done that. We've been known to be a marathon. Aces Up is definitely more of a marathon show than quintessential 45 minutes to an hour pod.
We can talk for hours more, just bringing up, teams and where they're going to go, what players are going to do this. Do you like this?
Well, yeah, that's why I left this part to be I didn't put any structure to this part. This was just going to be just whoever you want to talk about, whatever you want to talk about type of situation there.
You got Njoku out there. What do you think of that guy? I still think that guy's got a little left in the tank, landed in the right spot, don't you think?
Yeah, I've been picking him everywhere. I mean, I've done mostly best ball drafts. I haven't done any. I tried to do a draft Sunday night. It didn't fill on NFFC, but I've been slamming him in the 7th, 17th, 18th round every best ball draft.
Absolutely. Free.
Especially best ball. I mean, all that guy does is put up a spike week or nothing. So it's like, you don't even have to think about it.
It doesn't hurt your best ball. Yeah, what do you care?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it'd be nice to see when he finally gets a landing spot.
We were talking to the Chargers a couple days ago. That's last I heard. And that's another one. What do you do with the Chargers tight end now? Everybody's raving about him, but then he did nothing. And remember, he had a hot start, and he did nothing. Now they love him again this year. I don't know what to think.
He reminds me of Ben Coates.
Ben Coates.
Rondé Gadsden, yeah. Yeah, and I think sky's the limit for him. The only problem is that team is loaded with weapons, and there's a lot of mouths to feed.
Don't bring Keenan Allen back. They're talking about that.
Don't do that.
Let him go.
I think Njoku would be good. Would be a good landing spot, even though we got some wide receivers. But tight end room Denver could use him too.
100%. I was going to mention Denver. Yes,
Denver could use him as far as Greg Deutsch ain't really cut it out. I don't know. I guess he's still there.
No,
He might be gone.
What about Carolina? They could use a tight.
He just destroys. I had the biggest man crush on Ted McMillan. I mean, if it's third round, it was Ted McMillan, and he wasn't a bust, but the quarterback just held him back. He was just horrific. He's just bad. I like Ted again, but that quarterback is just so bad.
And one of the best players in NFFC, Mike Santos, took him everywhere.
Yeah,
he took him.
I remember
maybe second.
I watched the Super draft.
The
one with the $10,000 or $25,000 draft, diamond. Maybe it was diamond. I don't know. It was $25,000.
That's a diamond. Yeah, that's a
diamond. We're in Vegas, and what's his name? I forget his name, but he took Tet on the 1-2 turn.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Crazy.
And I liked him with the the landing spot, but he kind of does look like he don't look like he separates a lot, does he? But I mean, he really is. But he looks kind of slow, but he's big bodied. He's red zone.
I love him. I like him. He's just got just a terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have it. He's just not a pro quarterback. He just doesn't have it. He's not an NFL established quarterback, and he just kills that team. Just kills them on there. And then the other receivers, what's his name outside? What's the guy who likes riding horses?
I like Coker a little bit out there.
Coker, I like. I picked him up a lot of what do you got to lose picks, and I got him. It's the other one, big tall guy, kid, like second year last. You know what I'm talking about? He was hurt, but then he came back.
Leggett
on there. That guy. I was high on him for a while, and
yeah, he never panned out. He's another one.
Coker was one of them I had drafted last year.
Carolina
added him back.
They got some bad luck with wide receivers too. Terrace Marshall, Leggett. There's guys that bust.
It just seemed like just a no-brainer getting Chibble Hubbard in the 6th or 7th round after you load up on wide receivers as one of your starting running backs. I mean, it's like he's going to have it for a while. As long as he stays healthy, he can do good. We know what he can do as a 3-down back. Not a secret. They paid him big bucks.
Good receiver out of the backfield, too.
Tampa Bay. My biggest pick was the running back last year, and he had mental health problems, injuries, and
he was my biggest fade last year, Duke.
I wish I was in your bandwagon for that one, Joe.
I didn't like it. Had nothing against that price tag he was going at last year. With my God, second round, I'm looking at all the players going around in him, and I'm going, how the hell could somebody click on Bucky Irving?
It was. I'm telling
you, when those other guys are available. I mean,
first 5 weeks of the season, though, he was all world. Him, and then I had him on every single one of my teams in the third round, the rookie wide receiver for Tampa Bay last year.
Ibuka.
Unbelievable. And then quarterback gets hurt, Ibuka gets hurt. It's like, what happened to Ibuka? I like him. I like him this year again. I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid one more time on Ibuka this year. We'll see what happens with him.
Let me see what
I had him in the silver bullet last year. My team was loaded, and it fell off the face of the earth the second half. I could put up 100 points a week, barely.
I know.
I had Jonathan Taylor, who went in a slow spell, and I had Ibuka. I forget who else I had, but that team still finished like 64th or something, or I mean, it was just. I thought I had a chance at my third title, but you just gotta finish. You start out strong, but you gotta finish. But
Ibuka is another one of those wide range ADP guys, man. He's gone as early as 25, and he's gone as late as 47 through five completed.
Wow.
A healthy Godwin, is he a bargain? Chris Godwin?
But when's the last time you can say?
I don't know. He ain't been
you know what, Joe? You know why I'm off of Godwin this year? Because I like Jalen McMillan, and you can't. Good. And you can't be in on all of them. There's got to be.
I'd rather have the upside kid like him than Godwin.
I think McMillan's way cheaper too. I think he's basically free.
And the biggest thing too is this offense is going to be interesting because Mike Evans drew all the coverage, so everybody else ran kind of free. So we'll have to see who can handle that.
Mayfield was hurt almost the week 5 on. He was just beat up. He was just hurt. I like Mayfield. The players absolutely love Baker Mayfield. They love that guy. They go to war and they'll tell you that. They love him. But I think Mayfield can be a good quarterback. He's healthy.
I'll tell you another tight end that's free, which he's slow. I mean, he give you a little bit. You need a bye week. Kate Otten, since we're talking Tampa,
I had Otten a bunch of teams. He did, yeah. Yeah,
I seen the draft board. He's like around 18 in NFFC. I'm like,
he did really, really well.
Yeah, he was kind of.
I got no problem with Otten. Dalton Schultz a little bit every now and then too. He has some decent games too.
Yeah.
He's funny because everything, and this happens every year with him. I feel like things align to tell you that his volume is going to shrink because they drafted 2 rookie wide receivers.
Right.
Now this year you got Tank Dell potentially coming back. They finally got themselves a running back who, if Montgomery stays healthy, is going to be much more efficient than Joe Mixon ever was for Houston.
Sure.
And just the whole complexion of the offense could be different. And Schultz maybe could be used more in line than running routes, but then you turn around and the next thing you know he's 7 for 68. You know what I mean? And that's
only if the quarterback comes back like we know he could play. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in all NFL last year. He just lost his confidence, and he was just horrific, Joe.
Schultz is one of those nice floor plays, those fall back tight. Like you pair Schultz with a tight end that has high upside but vulnerability. Yep. That's kind of how I see Schultz. But again, this year, a lot of things pointing towards Schultz having some regression. So. And every year I feel that way, and every year he proves me wrong. So I could be wrong again, but again, I'm going to stick with that. I do think that his volume takes a hit this year, his overall volume.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I agree with you there on that one. And Tucker Kraft, if he's healthy, where's he going to go? I mean, that guy was so good last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm drafting him this year.
I got to see how these next couple of months pan out.
I was all over him last year because you were getting him in the 12th round.
I got him too. I got him a good price.
Yeah, I did too. He was going 8, 9, no 10, 11, 12 range.
Ty Warren, Ty Warren and Tucker Kraft were my 2 highest owned tight ends last year. It was because I thought 10th round Warren was money. He ended up moving up towards August, but for the most part of draft season, June, July, you were getting Ty Warren in round 10. I think I got him in round 10 in the New York prime time, come to think of it. But there were drafts where he was going in the 7th and 8th round, some drafts last year. Ty Warren.
Yeah. Second tight end I got my last pick in every draft was the Saints tight end. He's like number 3 or 4 overall.
Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
He was great until
he did good. He had a good solid year, and he slowed down a little bit. I get it, but
they traded for was it Vele? I forget who they added during the season. His
tight end.
No, pass catcher.
Yeah, he came from Denver, didn't he? Valet or something like that? Or Valet or something like that. But Johnson, his name Johnson, right? The tight end?
Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson. I guess the mid pack, say if I'm waiting on tight end just to take a bounce back. That's just us talking here in May, with the OC change. I kind of like Laporta for a bounce back.
I love Laporta. I've always got Laporta. Yeah,
because didn't he get Trey McBride's OC? He just had that Pepper the tight end.
right.
I mean, he could be.
He's the cheapest he's ever been, too, Joe.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to be a great pick to get. You nailed that one, Joey. I like Laporta a lot.
You know, like I'll tell everybody, I'm sure you do it, and I know Joe does it. Like, okay, if I'm gonna take a Josh Allen in the third, if I could get a Laporta in the 8th, 7th or 8th or something, that's perfect. Because I never take the 2 usually. It just don't mix. Like if you take a Bowers or a McBride, you might as well just wait for that mid-tier quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, that's the 2 positions that I think a lot of people struggle with. Like, okay, I mean, you can make it work, but you're gonna have to hit everything just right to get it to work.
Yeah, you see a lot of drafts too. They do a great draft as far as getting the wide receivers, their tight ends, their running backs, but then they think they're smarter in the whole room, and they wait and they wait and they wait, and they won't take a quarterback to like the 13th, 14th, 15th round. And I just yell at my computer, "What are you doing?" You had an opportunity to get quarterbacks, in the 10th and 11th round, 2 good ones, to mix and match with, and they don't pull the trigger. That stuff like that, I just scratch my head over when I see drafts like that.
Last year that would have worked out. Boom, boom. Matthew Stafford.
Well, okay, yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. It happens. You keep putting it off. You keep putting it off, and then you try to address it, and you get sniped. And then and you're like, why does this guy just took his second quarterback? You don't need that guy right now. And in the meantime, now it's the next tier down, and you're like.
There's some drafts like Dak was available in the 9th round. I'm like, oh, you're so lucky to get Dak after the team that you just got, and they pass on him. I was like, unbelievable.
I remember on our shows last year, we was telling people, Joe can vouch for this. We told everybody, I said, when Burrow went down, I said, go add Matthew Stafford. I said,
wow.
I mean,
he was available in some leagues at that point.
And I said, they're the perfect style. They need the one run. I said, go get him. I said, what kills me, these people who rank people for a living. I mean, we're all 3 here smarter than a lot of these people. I'm not saying I'm a lot smarter, but what I'm getting at, how can you rank a top 5 Puka and a 14, 15, 16 Adams, almost a low end 1, high end 2, but you're gonna say Matthew Stafford's a 24th, 25th, 20. I don't get them rankings. I mean, I'm not saying I'm smarter than them. I'm just saying I don't get it.
It makes no sense. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, when you got 2 alpha wide receiver 1s, somebody's throwing them the ball.
That's right.
I mean,
they throw the ball.
Running back handing off to them.
Yeah. Crazy.
I sit and wonder. I just don't get it. But we on our show, I think it was. I don't know if it was on. It might have been Aces Up, but we told everybody, said, go get Stafford. Right? He was available. Like some of our buddies that play in FFC do really good. I think they went and added Stafford on the team that they had. Dan and Josh, they added Stafford.
On a couple spots,
add the MVP of the NFL or nothing. That's crazy.
Yeah,
and not only that, but I was saying it last year, and I'll still, I guess I'll still say it. He is the best quarterback in the NFC.
You can't argue with that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Name somebody in the NFC that's better than him. You got to think.
It's maybe Jalen Hurts, but I mean. It depends on what Jalen Hurts you're getting here.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't see anybody better than him, honestly. I don't.
No, I mean, really, you sit and think about it. No, I mean,
not Love, not Purdy.
Jared Goff,
as far as
Jared Goff, Dak.
Goff is a good fantasy quarterback. He because of their offense.
I'm talking like an actual quarterback of like an NFL quarterback.
They probably
it's not even close. It's not even close that it's Matt Stafford.
Goff always craps the bed in big games, playoff games.
Stafford is probably as close as Joe Burrow as you get as far as pure passing quarterback.
He's elite.
Like, those two.
He's elite. He's absolutely bottom tier elite, but he's nonetheless elite.
Yes. Wow.
That's how I feel. I've been like the last 2 or 3 years. I put him in that elite category. So that's just how I feel about him as a quarterback. Now, fantasy football, people didn't have him ranked high because of his back issues and his injuries, which I didn't think was going to be a problem at all, to be honest with you. If it was really going to be a problem, it would have been. There would have been more evidence of it. There would have been talks about him retiring, and it would have come out. The truth as far as that goes would have come out more, and there was no solid evidence to back the fact that this guy was just gonna be done with football. There was no sign. There was no signs of that in my opinion.
His wife just said yesterday he's got good 2-3 years left in him.
So I wasn't shying away from him, but obviously, like I said, Caleb Williams was just because of how late Caleb Williams was going. He was my late round target. I normally don't mix up late round quarterbacks. There's one that I'm convicted on. That's the one I'm trying to get all the time. And if I do happen to get sniped on him or don't get an opportunity to get him, Stafford was my second choice, but it never happened. I got Caleb in almost every draft last year.
Yeah. So, I like him.
All right, guys. Anything else you want to cover?
Yeah, we've been talking for 3.5 hours, boys.
I'm feeling a little parched.
Yeah.
We'll try to get sometime in July after Duke drafts a few. He'll get a feel for the draft.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the draft, guys. I am. Maybe I'll do one in between when I get back in Vegas next Wednesday before I leave for WSOP the following week. Try to get in there and see how we do with NFFC. Give it a shot.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to do one early one too, though, just because I spotted enough edges in the ADP landscape that I think it would be foolish to not get one in early.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks again for inviting me on. I love being on with you guys. I love talking fantasy all the time, and let's do it again. I enjoyed it.
Lord,
absolutely.
It's been awesome to see you and talk to you, dude. We've talked on Twitter and
all year long. Yep. Sounds good.
Sure we'll see each other all in the draft rooms together somewhere along the line.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
Absolutely. Duke, appreciate you taking the time out of your retired schedule. you're 1 week off in between poker grinding. To spend it here with us. Also, I got to give a shout out to my daughter Kennedy. She's 11 years old today. Cinco de Mayo birthday. Nice. Yeah, we got plans over the weekend. That's why she had school today. They had the MCAS. You guys know about the MCAS testing. It's like 5th grade, 8th grade, and 10th grade. They require you to pass the test to move on or something. It's like nationwide testing or whatever. But yeah. So she had a busy day today. I coached. My son had a little league game. So we did have a cake before the show started. But we got the big party. My brother-in-law is coming down with his kids on Sunday. We'll have the whole family together. Do a nice birthday day over the weekend. So looking forward to that, but we had to shout her out because I don't know if she listens or not. I do think she does sometimes.
She's in bed right now, though.
Yeah, she's definitely in bed right now. But you go look at her YouTube history. It's some of the shows are in there, so she definitely listens sometimes. I don't think she listens all the time because, you know what I mean. which she plays fantasy football, but she doesn't know the players like we do. I had to help her along last year, and she joined the one league with a bunch of kids, and she did all right. But I had to, after like the third round, I had to basically help her out. So she's just learning. But yeah, give her a shout out. We love her. She's getting old. I can't believe she's entering the preteen years. Y'all got to pray for me, because I heard that's the most fun years.
Yes, they are.
Nice. All right. Next week's guest, Mike Hoff from Fantasy Football Face Off. He may bring a co-guest. I always give my main guest an option to bring a co-guest if they want. I think 3 is the sweet spot. 3 people on a pod, perfect amount. So we'll see if he brings on another guest. But we have Hoff, Mike Hoff, great guy. Next week, looking forward to that.
He's the kicker guru.
He is the kicker guru. And if I looked at that contest, I picked the wrong kicker. If I picked Evan McPherson, what was that?
That was the NFLC Hold'em.
Not the playoff Hold'em. It wasn't the postseason one. It was the Turkey Day one. Turkey Day one.
Turkey Day Bonanza.
If I picked Evan McPherson instead of whoever I picked, I would have won the whole thing. Instead, I finished. I cashed, but it wasn't a lot. I forget, but yeah, it was a kicker off, and I looked at his rankings, and he had McPherson number 1 kicker that week, and I was like, "Fuck! I should have looked at his rankings. I would have been $10,000 richer."
That's a good turkey right there.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good. I had a good weekend. I hit a couple of parlays that weekend too. Overall, that was a pretty good Thanksgiving. Yeah. But all right, Joey, as always, a pleasure talking with you, man. I think we're doing something on Steve's channel, either Wednesday or Thursday, either tomorrow or Thursday. I forget what day he said, but I think he wanted to do it Wednesdays going forward. But I forget what day he said. But be on the lookout for that. Fantasy Savvy YouTube channel. Me, Joey, Dan Jewett, and Josh Bolin, the NFFC High Stakes crew, I like to call it.
Gamberg, he's on there with
and Michael Gamberg, yeah, can't forget him. We all get on there and we basically shoot the shit and share out just like we did tonight, but with 4 or 5 of us. So like a round table. So you can check that out. Duke, appreciate you, man. We'll do it again in July, August when you have 40 plus drafts under your belt.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Take those poker tournaments down. I know you will.
Yeah. Good luck in the World Series, man. I'll be texting you anyways.
Thank you.
All right. I'll be talking to you guys later. We'll see you. Take care.
Everybody, good night. Good night, everyone.